What's up, everybody? Welcome to the GameOverGreggy show. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller. Alongside, he only does everything, Colin Moriarty.
Hello.
The producer, Nick Scarpino.
Hello, everyone.
Did you like that one better?
That was good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then this guy, Tim.
Let Tim host.
Let Tim host, huh? That's what you're going to say. Here we are, episode 2 of the GameOverGreggy show. Episode 1, we said we'd post on Thursdays. Fuck that. We're going to post on Mondays. We're going to keep you on your toes.
We lied.
Sometimes we say things in the show, they don't come true. Sometimes we say everything and it comes true. Someone is murdering a baby outside.
That was awesome.
The fans are lining up outside the PlayStation home to get a piece of this action. If you didn't know, what happens on the GameOverGreggy show is we post them on Mondays. Each one of us brings a topic to the table, and we discuss it for your enjoyment. Sorry. Get back to the arm movement there. You like that?
Yeah.
It's really weird with the baby being murdered outside.
I think it's a cat.
That is not a cat. Everybody quiet. Is that a cat speaking? Is that a cat speaking our language?
I stand corrected. That was the English language.
Did a cat just become self-aware outside? Oh, my goodness.
Hello, Nick.
So last time we started with Tim.
Hello.
I see this time we switched. So this way we go the opposite direction. You start us, Nick.
Okay.
You had a topic last time.
Yeah, I'm gonna do another either or.
Ooh.
Married or single?
Some birds weren't meant to be caged, ladies and gentlemen.
What's better? What's better to be? Is it better to be in a committed relationship,
better?
or is it better at this day and age for someone between 20 and 35? Well, that's roughly our age range.
How old are you?
Me?
Yeah.
Pushing 34.
Okay.
I'm almost 34. Come January.
Just seeing where we are in your spectrum and why we're asking this question right now.
Yeah. Is it better? Is it better to be single or in a committed relationship in general? What's your thoughts?
Wouldn't it be in a committed relationship? Because everybody who's single is trying to get into a relationship.
Yeah.
Not
Are they?
everybody, I
Are they?
know. You got your heartthrobs out there, your Fran Mirabellas. They're just out there looking to get lucky.
Just jacking around.
Yeah.
Mingling. Jacking around.
Who's jacking around?
Trying to find a
It's a
piece
term.
of strange.
It's a term that there it is.
Trying to find a piece of strange. That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's usually better. I mean, like, the thing is...
What
like,
do you like better? Did you like being single when you were single?
Yeah, I enjoyed being single when I was single.
You like being in a committed relationship?
Sure, it's great having a partner, right? Like, that's the big part of it,
But you're
right?
not married.
No, but he eventually lessened the question. I mean, I'm divorced, so I don't even have to...
You've already been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Been there, done that.
being with someone's great when it's good, and then if it goes bad, that's when it gets really bad. And then you come out of that, and you're single, and you're happy to be single, and you want to mingle and
What,
be
Nick?
little Timmy
Tim,
Geddes.
what's it like being single right now?
No,
Is it amazing being
Here's the
single?
thing. No, I don't like
Tell
this
us
whole
stories
thing.
from outside the prison walls.
I don't like this whole single thing. But like,
You don't like being single?
No, I mean I do like being single, but not for the reasons you're implying. Being single is fun.
Why do you like being single, Tim?
I don't know, just because there's nobody worth being with, and if there was somebody worth
Damn,
being,
that's
if there was
fucking
somebody,
dork.
When there's someone that I know that's worth being with, I'd want to be with them, and then yeah, let's get married. That's how it works, right?
Damn, that's quick. So you just jumped the gun like that.
Jump the gun to marriage.
Hey, you know what?
What's
You're
up,
worth
ladies?
being with. You like Macklemore, too.
Yeah.
Let's get married.
Thrift shop.
Thrift shop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick. You know that kid from MasterChef who cried when his chicken wasn't cooked enough?
Yeah.
He was on the Fine Brothers video, Kids React to Gay Marriage. And when he watched the people get married, and they're like, at the end of the day, ask him all these questions, like, whoa, what did you think of this? What did you think? And he's like, it's fine. It's like Macklemore said. And he, quoted
quotes
the
him,
line.
yeah.
And I was like, damn,
Yeah.
this kid's OG.
Yeah. Well, that's the antithesis of OG if you're quoting that
If
guy.
you're an OG, yeah.
Whatever. You love Macklemore.
But,
You don't like Macklemore?
That's I know that one song. I don't.
Thrift Shop?
Yeah.
He's
It's
got
fine.
a bunch of other ones.
I'm sure he does. I don't listen to him, so I have no judgment on him.
You listen to a lot of rap, though. You should listen to
I do listen to a lot of rap. Yeah. I mean, when I was listening, Tim was here, we were doing something, and I was listening to.
I want that
I was listening to
animated GIF.
what was I listening to? Bun B, or something like that, and you were surprised that I was listening
Yeah.
to like such hard gangster rap.
You have it's very interesting taste in everything.
Thank you.
Things that I would not think that you would like, you like.
I was talking to my girlfriend the other day. Like I really honestly believe this. You'll not find a person with more eclectic musical taste.
You're eclectic in general, though. Because I would have pegged you when I first met you as just like nonstop, just listening to House of Pain. That's it.
Yeah, I like
it.
House of Pain.
Who
House of
doesn't
Pain's
like
fine.
House of Pain?
That
But, like-
one record's.
But like earlier today, we were driving in the car, and you're like, "Oh, Duran Duran. Yeah, I love Duran Duran. I'm a huge." I forget what you said to me.
New
You
wave.
said something
I'm a
about-
huge new wave
You
fan.
were like, "If you're on the new wave, I'm on that wave with you."
Dude, I love new wave. I was listening to OMD all weekend. My girlfriend was getting mad at me. That's orchestral maneuvers in the dark. In
Okay.
case you're curious,
No, that sounds right.
a huge new wave band. You guys don't know them. Yeah, man, you gotta listen to all sorts of music. I like everything, even "Gun for a Mouth" from the Nashville soundtrack.
Yes, I was gonna say I almost called you out. You're like, I like everything, and I was gonna say country, and then I remember you love Nashville. You do love the Nashville just like I do.
Don't get me started on
Nashville.
Nashville.
Okay, but to this
Scarlett
topic,
and Avery.
You already voiced your vote.
back.
You already voiced your vote.
What?
Your girlfriend got mad at you for listening to music. Well, that sounds like a fucking great existence, huh? Living under goddamn prison rule up here. You got snipers if you try to leave the house.
no, my girlfriend's great. The you know, like I there's perks to any situation, I think, like where you can choose, right? Like you can choose to not work, right? And there's an advantage to that because you can do whatever you
Right.
want, but you can't have money. You know, like
Right.
in a relationship, you know, if you're married, like you have this commitment and this expectation. You go home, you have your wife, you know, you're married.
Yeah,
You know,
I've been there.
and then
Yeah, the expectation that you're gonna come make dumb YouTube videos at our house. Like a
but
bunch of
then
idiots.
you can't
I'll
do
be
whatever
home soon,
you want.
babe.
You can't not go
Only
home. You
3
can't.
more topics to go through.
Yeah, that's the heart of it, right? Is I have what I would consider one of the best relationships out of anyone that I know. I love my wife. She doesn't care that I come and hang out with you guys whenever I want. She gets it. She gets that's a part of my life, and she doesn't put crazy expectations on me. But there is always, like I always say, being married is awesome from Sunday to Thursday. Like those days are fantastic. I love the Sunday movie. Like last Sunday, my wife and I just watched old Bond movies all day, and she was cool with that, and that's great. But it's when you go out on Friday and Saturday that you're missing that thing, right? That special, like anything could happen. I'm beholden to no one. Tim, you could wind up in Mexico on Saturday, and
Cabo.
no one's going to care
Almost
except
did.
I'm just going to want to hear the story on Monday morning and live vicariously through, you know.
The stories you're not going to get. Exactly.
Yeah, probably not. So I mean, that's just.
But you
that's,
lived those stories. You don't need them again.
I did, and that's you know a message I would say to anyone that's listening that is younger, contemplating a committed relationship. There is no such thing as sowing your wild oats. You never get beyond.
Yeah.
Damn it. I tried to go literally the entire podcast last time without saying that word, but I don't think that you ever get to a point where, like, I've heard people say I've had my fun, I want to get married, and I think that's a really horrible thing to say. Why would you want to say that, right? So my wife and I have more fun with my wife than I've had in forever because we just don't think about it. It's not that kind of fun.
Oh.
It's not that dirty kind of fun. Well, some of it's that dirty kind of fun.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Give me a high five, Tim.
But I do miss that. I do miss a time in my life, and this is something, by the way, that my wife and I talk about a lot. Where we're like, we do miss those crazy times when you were single because.
Do you ever have a hall pass?
I don't get a hall pass.
I saw a
no.
documentary about this once.
Yeah, it was with Owen Wilson, I think. Yeah. We talk about our fears of just being together forever and what that sort of entails. Is that a nice way? Is that a nice way to say it? Is that terrible?
We talk about our fear of being together forever. Isn't that what the ring is for? Isn't that what it's all about?
No, I mean, you know, you want to be with someone, but you don't know what you're going to want 10, 20 years from now.
Wings.
Well, I know you're going to want that. You never know. You might develop an allergy to salt.
I bullet to the brain. So
You wouldn't be able to eat anything. You'd have to
You'd
eat
have
like
water.
butter lettuce and
I like butter lettuce.
and coconuts or some shit.
I've been hanging out with you way too much because the first thing I was going to say was butter lettuce.
Greg
know
loves
why.
butter
I
lettuce.
love butter lettuce.
Greg
I buy it
loves
by the head.
butter lettuce. The one when you buy the ones with that, you can see the roots. Do you buy that one?
No, I don't buy the ones with the roots still in it, but
I
I
don't
buy.
even know what butter lettuce is.
It's a really delicious type of lettuce.
Well,
if
as
you
far
cook
as
more,
lettuces
you'd know.
go.
Greg just likes it because it has the word butter in it.
I do not. That is not the only reason. I like it because it tastes delicious, and I can imagine little pieces of butter in it.
But I digress. That's the only thing I think of. I think that I look at you guys, I look at the guys that go out, and I have other friends who are married now and go, the reason, you hang out with those young guys. And I'm like, yeah, they keep me young for one. They keep me on my toes. And I do enjoy hearing the stories of you guys going out and doing crazy things.
There is something
It's nice.
vicarious about it.
It's
no
very
doubt.
vicarious.
No doubt about it.
And you do miss that. You will miss that when you do
You're
get
gonna
committed
miss this.
on some level. Especially when you've had them. You're like, I don't know.
Tim's only 5 years younger than me, but I feel like he's even younger than that.
Well, you grew up in the hard streets of the island.
Yeah, no doubt. The island
Tim's
is
over here
Grew up on the hard
pampered.
streets of Daly City.
Exactly.
SF.
SF?
I grew up in SF. I'm in Daly City now.
You're a West
Not
Coast
happy about that.
sissy.
What's
That's your
funny is
problem.
you come out.
You've never been
You talk
tested.
hard. So Tim Geddes talks hard.
And he wears
He is
ugly
like-
sweatshirts.
He wears awesome sweatshirts.
He's got
He's
good style.
super into gangster rap.
I'm not into gangster rap.
He's
at
really
all.
about the streets.
No.
He's really about tagging.
He's about the trilogy
And
shit.
Tagging.
tagging and getting out there and like
Getting up.
fighting for your turf and holding down your corner. You know, basically, if you've seen The Wire, that's Tim. He's not the cop. He's the other guys that are selling the crack.
Makes sense.
But yet he went to the middle school in my neighborhood, which is like the whitest
The
neighborhood
Asianness, not
in
the
San
whitest.
Francisco. It's super white now.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
The marina?
Yeah.
Oh my god, everyone around there
Marina's
is
super white,
That's
dude.
super
The
white.
Marina Middle School is super Asian. It's like 80%
Is it?
Chinese. Yeah.
I can just imagine that's why.
I mean, you're in the Sunset right now. This is Asian HQ.
Yeah, and they all go there for school because they don't want to go to Presidio or Roosevelt because they suck.
Why did you say they
Wow.
like that? That sounded
They,
You're a
people that
racist.
live here,
racist.
You're a racist.
Racist.
they want them to go to good schools, guys.
Racist. Yeah, there's no good schools in the Sunset.
I know.
There's that one like creepy ass Sunset
Like
school
Hoover.
over there.
No one wants to go to Hoover.
Yeah.
Greg, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are divorced,
Right.
which is something that surprises people.
First from the table to be divorced.
Probably
not
not
the last.
Probably not the last. Statistically speaking, California 50-50.
Will you get married again?
Oh yeah,
You think so?
big time.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You liked it.
Yeah, marriage is
liked it.
great. Marriage
I
is
remember
fun. Yeah, having a partner is cool. Having someone you know you can rely on.
But
is
you have a
great.
partner right now.
Yeah, I know, and I know I can rely on her. She's great.
But you're gonna marry her.
Yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Oh, okay.
We'll see how the cards go. It's one of those things. I think now that fool me once, shame on you. Fool me
Right.
twice, shame on me.
That's how the
like
saying
you know what I
goes.
mean. Like it's one of those like I'll look a little more into it as far as like that. That's the only thing. Like I have no plans to not be with Steimer anytime soon. You know what I mean? I'll probably
Aside from
marry
the fact that he
Steimer.
refers to her by her last name still.
Yeah.
That's how we do. We're
Not a
military
first
rank and
name.
Well,
file.
see, that's
over
going to be
here.
weird. Like, you call her Miller later.
I know.
You guys get married.
I call her
No,
Christine
see,
a lot too. Just
what's-
in casual conversation.
What's fun about that, Tim, is they don't actually have to change their last names as proof.
They do
By
if
my
they
wife.
want to be with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she didn't change her
Well,
last
yeah,
name.
if you're one of these new wave
She
pussy
didn't
ass
want-
husbands.
I would marry you just for your last
You
name.
can change your name to Scarpino.
Man.
I'm fine with that.
Adopt
Anyone out
so
there?
cool.
Adopt him.
I tried to adopt him.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a law against adopting someone who's 24 years old.
It's upsetting.
That seems like a
I
weird
was
law.
trying to write him off on my taxes too. We're spending a lot of
Great.
time together.
No, but I
He's
mean,
your dependent?
You raise
He's
a,
my dependent. Yeah.
You raise a good point, Colin. That me and Christine talk every so often about marriage, but it's not like something either of us are like super like, yeah, let's go do that. But like we talk more about like, but we bought this TV together. We're gonna be together as long as that TV's together. I'll tell you what, that's a good ass
You cut in
TV.
half, like Kramer,
TV.
like Kramer, or like Newman in the Seinfeld episode decided to cut the bike in half when they couldn't decide if it was Kramer's or Elaine's.
Solomon was Solomon, Wisdom of Solomon thing
Yeah.
there. That's what that was.
Yeah.
I got there in the end.
Yeah,
How you guys
no
doing?
doubt about it. No doubt about it. Well, that's interesting. I'm gonna get married.
I like being coupled up. I like having a partner, especially
I don't know
nowadays.
why
like,
you wouldn't, unless you're like one of those people that just want, to get a piece of strange
piece of strange
every
time.
weekend, like just
Yeah.
going out
How
and
many
doing
times
that.
have you used that term since you heard me say it?
A million. I love
That was
it.
last
It's
week,
so
right?
good.
Isn't it last time we did
Well,
the show?
we've had it like 2 weeks ago, but ever since, any chance I get, piece of
I
strange.
thought I was
talking
with
about-
you when you learned about
It was
Piece of
here,
Strange.
but we didn't do the podcast that week. It was some other stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
what conversation with Colin? Greg Ways?
Probably. Yeah,
You
should
can,
check them out.
you
every,
can name drop the other shows
every
on this
day of the
channel.
week.
Every day of the week, nerdy conversations.
Yeah. But yeah, like who wouldn't want to be with somebody unless you're one of those people that don't want to be with somebody.
See, I don't like you're talking about Thursday through Sunday or whatever. No, Sunday through Thursday. I like it on Friday when it's just like we come home and it's just like, guess what? I'm tired. I'm old. It's whenever Damon Hatfield used to do the Monster Zero shows and these Damon shows.
Yeah,
and
it's
thing,
too hard.
He comes out like, all right, we're gonna go party on Friday. I'm like, fuck, man, I am old.
Yeah.
You're starting your DJ set at 10 o'clock on a Friday. Sorry, sir. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, so I mean that's sometimes 90% of the time that's how I am, right?
Yeah.
I want to go home on Friday night. I want to get something good to eat.
A
Just hang
burrito.
out. Generally a burrito.
The same place.
Usually I have 3 places I go to.
There's other those
I
places
go
in the
to.
marina.
And there's a
another
delivery
in the
place
marina?
now too, right?
A place that delivers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's La Canasta in the marina. It's the
God, delivery.
Also, now you're off
that.
you're off
Okay.
carbs and shit, right?
No, I'm back on carbs. That could be a whole other subject. of
Get some bread over
conversation.
here.
Try to do the low carb diet. I lost a lot of weight on Atkins originally, doing a low carb diet, which I recommend Atkins, but only in short, brief.
Like a day,
increments.
36 hours, kind of.
No, I mean it's a phenomenal diet. It's just not very healthy for you, and anyone who is going to do it, you look up the technicalities behind it because it's harsh on your body. But
What's
I
it
did
do?
it again.
What's it do to your body? Make you poop weird?
Well, yeah, there's that because you don't get a lot of fiber, so you gotta have fiber supplements. But also, you just lose. I lost a lot of energy where I was like, I couldn't process information. My brain wasn't working as much as I wanted it to, and I was actually going through what felt like withdrawal symptoms from carbohydrates, which is like, it's silly to say, but like if you don't give your body the thing that it generally uses to burn for energy,
your body would want that.
your body wants that,
Yeah.
and you start shaking a little bit, and I couldn't focus in meetings, and I didn't have my.
Because you're so focused in meetings every other time.
I'll focus on the blog that I'm reading on my phone. Whatever forum I'm trying to post on. I can't remember my login because I have 3,000 passwords for
That's
everything.
so goddamn annoying.
Are
Are we close to the retina technology yet where that can just be my password for everything?
Can we just all agree that none of our information is private and or worth guarding anymore and just move on with We don't need passwords
I
anymore.
love it when you go to these dumb sites like Rooster Teeth, and they're like, "Oh, well, it's got to have an uppercase letter and a lowercase and a
man,
period." It's like, motherfucker, I'm
It's
just here to
getting
call
crazy
Barb
now,
Sucky.
too. They're asking for like you need at least this many characters. They can't repeat. You also need a number. You also need a symbol. Sacrifice the blood of a virgin.
Right.
It's just like,
Yeah,
what
it's like
the
you
hell?
also
The
don't
virgin
need to
blood's
be a
actually the
soccer
easier thing to figure out.
Yeah.
At
Go to
IGN.
Tim.
I know. Just,
Well, at work,
Gotta say.
at work, that's the thing is like we have a lot of these like not proprietary, but like like our expenses and our
Right.
and
Yeah,
like
those are
and
rough,
I can't remember any of these passwords. I literally every time
Every
I
time.
log in, I
Every
reset
time.
the
I
password.
reset the
Yeah,
yeah,
every
that's
time.
how it works.
I think
And,
it was
and
Drucker,
it's like literally every other week.
Drucker tweeted something along the lines of like, my password for most sites is the I forgot my password link. It's just the easiest way. Like, yeah, you come in there. It would be easier. I was thinking, if I have passwords I just shuffle around. It'd be easier if they said, enter your password and then parentheses. It needs to be this long and have a period and a number. Like, okay, great. Now I know which one I'm using.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
F and A, Colin.
So marriage, yeah.
So marriage. Ultimately, look, it boils down to this. I love my wife.
How long you been married now?
Almost a couple years now. No,
What?
just barely a year. It seems like so much longer. So much longer. I just remembered
This
I
isn't
had.
turning out very good.
We had
for
our
you.
we had our
No way. It's been longer
we've
than
just-
a year.
No, we've been together for like 6 years.
No, not the togetherness. You've been married longer than a year.
We got married in August 30th. It's about a year and some change.
Year and
Okay.
3 months.
I was going to say, if it was a year and like we weren't invited, fuck you.
Oh no.
August, I'll let you slide on. That's fine. I didn't know you. I was still looking for a Tyree replacement. You were
You
fun.
were. Yeah, you got me. Shorter, squattier, less hair.
More fun. You eat pizza.
I do eat pizza.
Tyree would want like a goddamn hummus platter or some shit.
Boy, I used to live with Tyree. You know,
Yeah,
right?
that was terrible.
There were times in my life where I was like, why does the mail need to be in the freezer? You know,
Tyree's
is that
so
where it belongs? Tyree. I think it's is it at Tyree? Who's
Yeah,
what's
that's
his-
right.
At Tyree.
At
Tweet at
Tyree.
him. Ask
May
him
he
a question.
rest
See
in
what
peace.
happens. God bless Tyree.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
Oh, I love Ty. We hung out at Damon's party with him all night because he came not in costume, so he was sort of ostracized. He ostracized himself, and the guy was like, I didn't bring my costume. I tore it.
Yeah.
And I asked him every
His
time I asked
bulging
him
biceps.
every time I asked him what happened to his costume, it changed. The story changed. At one point, it just like, at one point he literally, and we were drunk by the way. So when Tyler gets drunk, his stories get ridiculous. But he legitimately said that it just tore apart of its own volition. Like it just
It dematerialized.
spontaneously just gravitated away
What
from his
was
body.
it? Did he say what he was?
He was Ryu from Street Fighter. So he said, I don't know, I didn't see the costume. But he
It
said the night
tore
before,
apart.
it just completely, as if he took that one final step and the whole thing it couldn't hold itself together and just fell off of his beautiful body with his great abs.
I mean, it makes sense. He's a good
It
looking
happens.
He's a great looking dude. My favorite thing about Tyroot, now he doesn't have his car anymore, but on his old car, big 311 sticker on the back of it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember Tyree having a car.
Funny story about that. So I was like, Tyroot, you really big fan of 311, right? He's like, huge fan. Huge. He kept that going for like 3 years. I was like, dude, hey, the guy should play some 311. That sticker was on the car when he bought it.
Yeah,
He was not a fan of 311.
Yeah,
He just was fucking with us the entire time.
well, because he knows that 311 is like my favorite band or whatever, and he had seen them live or whatever, like when he was younger.
Like, I'm not saying he's not a fan of
No,
them,
no,
but he's
I-
not a big enough fan to have put
No,
a
no,
giant
I know,
311 sticker on
but-
his rear window.
But I remember having conversations with him, like, what's your favorite record and stuff, and he would talk about like the records that I imagine he listened to when he was younger when they were good or whatever. So I was like, okay, you were a casual
An
fan.
OG fan.
Yeah, that's okay. He's a great guy.
Great.
Better looking than almost anyone I've ever met.
So Brendan
An
Ayub,
Adonis, he was called in a great
Brendan
way.
Ayub used to call him a cartoon pilot. That's what he
Yep,
looks like.
that's a great idea.
Like
That's a great
from
one.
Wings.
Like when you draw, when they
I'm
draw
sure-
a
I was
pilot.
I was getting ready to transition where we're going to talk about wings. Oh, Tim and Daly.
Nantucket.
I used to love that show. Tony Shalhoub on that show,
Yeah, the taxi driver.
so good.
Yeah.
Not as good as he was
So
on
good.
Monk, but pretty good.
Thomas Hayden Church.
Thomas
Whoa.
Hayden Church, fantastic.
Roy, whoever he was, he never did anything again.
That's his name?
No,
Roy?
that was his character name.
Oh, yeah.
Big fat guy.
He was the guy from the competing airline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he was their friend too.
Yeah.
Everybody
This all
loved him.
sounds made up. I don't believe any of it exists.
Wings?
Tim,
Yeah,
if
Wings.
I can, I mean, back in the day, TV shows could be on with just paper thin premises, and nobody on the show could be attractive.
Uh-huh.
You didn't remember that? Like
There was one person on Wings that was attractive.
The blonde chick that the brothers used to fight over, right?
no, they
Yeah.
did, but she wasn't that hot. I mean, if you,
I do
I'm gonna
remember
pull up
this.
photos of her right now, and
I do remember this.
She
I
is
know-
not that attractive. No offense to her, I'm sure she's watching.
I know. Yeah, I'm sure she's just waiting with bated breath for the next GameOverGreggy episode to go on the YouTubes. Case
You're
in
a
point,
partner in this channel, and you struggled through every word of that
I've never said it
sentence.
before. That's the first time I've said it in public. Case in point, you guys love Cheers, right? I remember
Yes.
you guys talking specifically
I love
about
Cheers.
Cheers. Kirstie Alley was actually. I'm gonna take back
Kirstie
what I
Alley's
was gonna
hot.
say. She was hot,
Yeah, she was
She
really
was
hot.
Christy Alley was hot.
but what's her name? Shelley Long was not hot.
No, she wasn't. They
She was
replaced.
not
They
hot.
replaced.
They replaced
All
the
right, Tim.
hotness
Yeah.
of Kirstie Alley with Shelley Long.
So you.
Oh no!
No. That was the other way around. That was the other way around.
Yeah, you're crazy, dude.
Shelley Long, then Kirstie Alley.
Was it Shelley Long then Kirstie Alley?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
Anyways,
No,
is this
she was
girl hot?
Yes. She had that 80s bangs. The
I mean,
80s bangs were
she's
amazing.
80s hot.
Yeah, she's hot as hell, dude.
Now, what if I told you the
She's
show
hot.
was in the 90s, not the 80s?
Then that's. I mean,
Dude, show her a picture of her now because I saw that the picture of her now on IMDb and she looks good.
Oh, Crystal Bernard. That's my jam.
Look in here.
I mean,
That's a bad picture.
I'll admit,
not my
I'm gonna
thing,
let you.
but-
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. She's more attractive
show
than I
her
remember.
that. Show that picture.
Yeah, you're
She's
really,
more attractive than I thought
you're
than I
eating your
remember
words
her.
here.
You're out of your mind.
You want to say the name
She's
so
all right.
people at home can Google
She's
it?
all right. See,
she's all right. I mean,
Crystal Bernard.
Crystal Bernard
Is her name.
Is she? Was she? Could
she's
she?
no Shelley
I
Long.
don't think the cast of this.
I almost said Shelley Duvall, which would have been really not.
I'm just saying that's. Yeah, well, that's actually a good cast photo.
Yeah,
Maybe
she
I'm
was
just- I'm
hot.
just young and
Greg,
stupid, I guess.
She was hot.
She's
She
not.
wasn't your-
She's not. I don't think she's that great in the final season.
She was hot too. Oh man.
Yeah, John
She's
Ritter's
still
wife.
good looking.
John
yeah.
Ritter's wife is amazing.
Wait, so was
Rest in
Shelley
peace,
Long?
John Ritter.
Was she a thing? Because I just know
Yeah.
her as like the mom in every shitty show. Like she's the stereotypical mom character.
She was
in the bad sitcoms that only ran like.
She
10
was the
episodes.
antithesis in personality to Kirstie Alley's character on Cheers. So when she left the show, which I don't know why she left the show.
She left the show to go be a big movie star.
Okay, Kirstie Alley
Didn't work out.
Kirstie Alley, who I believe did not do the next Star Trek movie because she was doing Cheers. Because she was in Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan.
Kirstie Alley was?
Yeah, she played the Vulcan.
Yeah, Shelley Long just ended up in like.
Yeah, it
The
did not
bad
work out. It
Disney
did not
Channel
work out.
original
It did not
movies.
work out for Shelley Long. She made the bad move there. I think it's widely regarded as a big failure.
Leaving Cheers.
Yeah. Big failure.
I mean, it's hard, right? You hear those stories about back in the day when, you have guys like you got guys like Tom Selleck being offered roles to play Indiana Jones in a new Steven Spielberg movie called Raiders of the Lost Ark, and he goes, "Nah, I can't get out of my contract for Magnum PI." So, that basically he's done with movies forever. Like he didn't really have a great movie career, but he was Magnum PI. Mm-hmm. So it's hard not to take that risk. I mean, you have agents.
Would
that,
you like some Amy Weisbeck trivia?
Sure.
Amy Weisbeck being the attractive,
Oh,
the
so
super
good
hot
looking.
redhead
So
who's
good
married to
looking.
John Ritter.
Way hot.
Still good looking.
Way
by the
hot.
way.
Oh yeah. Married
Like-
to John Ritter. He's passed away. All right, you ready?
He did. Which book?
The month of September is related to all the members of her family. Amy was born on the 12th. Her husband was born on the 17th and died on the 11th. Her daughter was born on the 11th. Amy was married on the 18th.
There you go. The-
Wings.
Boom.
The biggest example of the failed the biggest example of the failed leap was, do you guys, Tim won't remember this, but we can fill him in. Older. You guys know the Hogan family.
Oh yes, the Hogan family.
The Hogan family was once
Wait, are
called
we talking Paul Hogan from Crocodile Dundee or
No.
Hulk Hogan?
No, the Miller
No.
Boyette, the Miller Boyette sitcom, The Hogan Family, about the pilot.
No idea what you're talking about.
What? You don't know the Hogan family?
Bring up a picture. Maybe
Yeah.
that'll spark a memory.
So
a late
the
memory,
Hogan
but I
family
don't remember them.
started
The Hogan family.
about in a show called Valerie.
You guys, you and I, we all grew up. Oh man, that was gonna be my other topic. Ugh, I remember what my real topic was gonna be.
Bring up the
Doesn't
Hogan
matter.
family, Greg.
I got it. I'm on it.
You guys lived in an alternate universe to me, okay? Because you guys were all about Boy Meets World.
It's all
when
under
I was,
Valerie,
when
but
I was
it's the
all
same
about
thing.
Saved by the Bell and like Beverly Hills 90210.
This is the. You don't remember Jason Bateman's
Yeah, you
breakout
how do
role?
you not remember this show? It's
Mrs.
literally-
Poole.
Yeah, first of all, Mrs. Poole is one of the iconic characters in sitcom history.
Which one's Mrs.
The redhead, the fat redhead. She was also the bad
I know
neighbor
her
in
because
Small
she was
Wonder.
on Facts of Life, wasn't she?
No, oh my God, Nick.
No, that's
She
the
wasn't
wrong
Mrs.
woman.
Garrett? No, that wasn't Mrs. Garrett. I'm
Oh
sorry.
my God.
She was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She was
Yeah,
the,
she's in
she
Ferris
was the
Bueller.
secretary.
Right,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is 100% correct.
Yes.
But
I don't remember the show at all, and I'm sure I watched it.
So
It
so
just shows that I
all right. So
watched
here's the story.
all the episodes of
Valerie
Alf.
Valerie was a show. Valerie Harper.
Right.
I know Valerie.
All right. So Valerie Harper thought she was big shit, and she left the show to go do her own thing, which
Right.
failed. And they remade. They brought in Sandy Duncan, who is like a famous actress,
I know
to
Sandy.
fill in.
Yeah.
And like
There's
they
like
made this-
one season too, wasn't it? Something ridiculous.
Yeah, like she
that?
did one season of Valerie and
gross.
left.
This is
Sandy
gross.
Duncan came in and
It's
was
not
the
even- no, it's less.
aunt of these children whose dad was a pilot.
Airline pilot. Yeah.
that was never there. It took place in Chicago. I'm telling you, bro.
Serious, I know I've
That's the
watched
shit
the
right
show. I'm just not. I'm blanking on it.
It's got
That's
one of
Valerie.
No, this is Sandy Duncan.
Bring up. I gotta.
They're calling it all Valerie for some reason, but
Yeah,
it was only Valerie
86 and
until
91,
87.
but yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, through the years, remember that was their song, their sound.
Through the years.
Wow,
Yeah,
I haven't thought about the Hogan family in quite some time.
Wow, I'm literally blanking.
Life
on
is
it.
such a sweet insanity.
Oh, take
the
me
more
back,
you
Colin.
learn, the less you know. Yeah, that's the fucking hot shit. That's when
You
that's
have
when
a really
songs.
nice singing voice.
That's when songs
You
took
and I should
90.
duet together someday.
Yeah, we should. That's when songs took 90
okay.
seconds. Remember, like it was.
Oh,
It
that was
wasn't
when-
this instant
No, that was when
culture we live in where you got to write what you wanted.
Yeah, you can't like nowadays. You got to do.
Small
You got to
wonder.
do everything within the first 5 seconds of seeing anything, or otherwise you'd lose.
I mean, let's not take this for granted that
Wonder was
Mrs.
amazing.
Poole in the Hogan family was running concurrently with Small Wonder. She was the annoying neighbor in every fucking show in the late
she had
80s.
a great career in the late.
And
80s,
did
early
she
90s.
not? Did Mrs. Poole not jump?
What is her name? What is the actress's name?
Edie Clure or something like that?
Oh, okay.
Right?
Something like that, yeah.
Edie McClure. Or
Yeah,
something?
Edie McClure.
Edie McClure.
So
Bonnie Brindle.
You've seen her a billion times. She's amazing. If I ever got a chance to hang out with
now,
her.
now, correct me if I'm wrong though
Yeah,
about this.
okay.
Was she not in Step by Step as well?
She was in Step by Step, I believe, yeah. Oh, I can just click on her. I'm right here.
I don't
click
remember
on
her being in Step by Step.
I
Is that the
believe she
Patrick
was
Duffy
in
show?
Step by Step as one of the neighbors.
That's the Patrick Duffy show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Patrick
And
Duffy.
Suzanne Summers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, Suzanne Summers.
You remember that show?
No.
You don't
I mean,
remember?
I've
Oh
heard
my
it. I know it.
God.
Was that? No, that's not where Urkel came from, right?
No, Urkel's Family Matters.
But then he had his own show, right?
No.
What was the spinoff
was
of
a-
Family Matters?
Something spun off to be found.
Yeah. something
Yeah,
like
What was
that.
that?
it was Perfect Strangers.
Yeah.
The maid was the mom.
No, the mom was the elevator
Oh,
operator at the newspaper.
Oh my God! See, that was back in the day when, like, Tim, I know this is gonna blow your mind, but back in the day, there was not this thing called the internet. There was not this thing called cable television. Wasn't very prevalent, and phones still had cords that had to be attached to walls. And there was only like 6 channels or 7 channels of network television that you could have access to at any given time. You didn't get to pick. There's no such thing as video on demand. Whatever was on was on. So you were forced to watch these shows. Everyone watched Small Wonder. Alf blew my fucking mind. Right?
No, see, I get,
like that was
I
the
get
jam.
this, but not those shows.
No. Well, you were too young though. You didn't watch.
But
those.
spin-offs were the
Spinoffs were, and that was my point of that.
Yeah.
Spinoffs were just natural. They were just like
Because
Cheers.
you-
Everyone had a spinoff of Cheers,
Right.
And all of them failed except Frasier, which then became even almost arguably.
Maybe I hear the blues are calling.
almost as big.
Almost as big.
But like yeah, like the Perfect Strangers to Family Matters spinoff is weird. The Golden Girls to Empty Nest spinoff
That's really weird.
was weird.
Who was that with?
So Empty Nest, Golden Girls, which is still one of the great shows of all
Love it.
time.
My wife literally.
Empty Nest is
watches-
about the
I watch
pediatrician
it
that
too.
lives down the street from the Golden Girls.
No.
And after like 2 episodes he was in randomly, they spun it into its own show about his family, which lasted like 4 seasons. Then they spun Golden Girls
That's
into
the
Golden
tall,
Palace.
The tall guy, right?
Yeah, like the tall older
Elliot
dude with that
Ness.
very
Very
speci-
deep
that-
baritone
yeah,
voice.
Yeah, yeah.
Elliot Ness is not the. That was his character name. Is that right?
Elliot Ness is definitely not the name of the
Untouchable.
actor or the character on the show.
Isn't Elliot Ness like
He
a
was-
criminal or something?
No, he was an FBI agent.
Yeah,
that
oh,
was
okay.
Famously made famous by the
You're
movie.
all about to eat your words because I'm gonna go
The
crack this.
Untouchables.
Crack this one.
No, I want to know that guy's name because he was in a
How
lot of
the
stuff.
fuck did we get from marriage to empty nest?
There you go. His name is Richard Mulligan.
Richard
His
Mulligan,
character name was Dr.
Harry
Henry
Weston.
Weston. Harry Weston.
He was in something really, really big. A big show. It wasn't Empty Nest.
It wasn't
something
Empty
before
Nest?
that. So look up. Yeah, you got to look up his
Soap.
soap.
Oliver and
Was
Company.
amazing.
Oliver and Company?
Yeah. Hey Arnold.
Hey, fucking Arnold? Who
He was
in
one
Hey
guy.
Arnold?
He was Jimmy Kafka.
Yeah, he's
Kafka.
probably a good bit character.
He
but-
died in 2000.
He had-
Well,
Look up,
according to
look up-
this.
Go the other way. Look up.
Oh, he's
after
in
Empty
Babes in
Nest.
Toyland.
Look at that picture of him.
Yeah, that's insane stuff.
Fucking love Babes in Toyland.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
What do you want me to look at?
No. I'm
Okay.
lost. I got
Should we
lost.
move on, Greg? What's your topic?
Greg, what's
He
your topic?
was Exini in Star Trek Judgment Rights, a video game in 1993.
Oh.
All right, my topic is one you might have seen in the news. Do you see these skydivers almost die?
No.
So these skydivers are getting ready to skydive, Colin. They got 2 planes. They're all wearing GoPros like a bunch of idiots because they're skydiving like a bunch of idiots. One plane's down here, the other plane's up here. This plane comes in and crashes into the top of this plane and then sets it on fire. It explodes. Everyone jumps out of all of the planes except for the one who lands this plane, and everybody survives. And
Wow.
it's all on GoPro camera.
Yeah.
It's all out there. It's up in Wisconsin.
That's unbelievable.
Everyone survives. The one guy who's I think the guy whose plane came down and hit the other plane, he ends up landing and being all right. But yeah, everybody got out. Even the pilot of the first plane got out and
had a parachute.
He had his emergency parachute, his little red one. It's just crazy. So my questions here are many-fold. Would any of us here skydive? Have we skydived?
I would 100% skydive.
Yeah, I would skydive.
I want to.
See, I used to say this bullshit all the time, and then somebody came into Up at Noon one day. We finished the episode.
Thank you
Comes
for
over,
blowing that the other way.
He's
by the way.
like,
I appreciate that.
It's fine. Me and Colin blow burps in each other's face for fun. He comes up and he's like, hey, if you ever want to come shoot something for Up at Noon, I'm a skydiver. I'm an instructor. I can get you up. And I go, great. Nope. Yeah. And it was one of those for my entire life when skydiving wasn't an immediate possibility. I was like, totally, I'll do that. That sounds awesome. Yada, yada. I'd be like Superman. Yada, yada. And as soon as it was presented, knee-jerk, blank mind reaction, no fucking way.
Why?
Because I don't want to.
It sounds so fun.
Yeah, it does.
What if it? I mean, it's not even the thing of death.
I think you have to do this now.
It's not even death that scares me. It's just that it seems like I'd be sick to my stomach. I wouldn't want to do that.
See,
I
here's
get
the thing.
motion sick.
To me, I have this theory that like people are scared of roller coasters. I don't get that.
Yeah.
If there's people waiting in line to go on this thing, it's fine. Like, yeah, you could die. You could die doing anything.
Yeah, I know.
Like if people paid to skydive and like there's like you have to be all trained and there's all this like there's rules and stuff. If that institution exists, you're fine.
Yeah, but again, that's not. See, I don't like roller coasters for the same reason. I get sick to my stomach.
Statistically, it's safer
like
to skydive than it is to do.
Go ahead, lay it out. This is when they always do the whole thing. It's like
it's safer to drive a car than it is to, or safer to fly in a plane than it is to drive in a car.
But that's just
yeah. But I guarantee both of those are safer than skydiving.
I hate
put that out there.
I hate that argument. Superman uses that all the time too. Statistically speaking, better to be in a plane than a car. And there's not as many planes in the air as there are
Superman
cars.
says that?
Yeah, in the movie.
He
Superman
does.
in the movie.
Jesus Christ.
Twice actually. Good movie.
Oh yeah, in the Superman Returns.
Really good film.
But there's not as many planes in the sky as there are cars on the road.
That's true, but I think
any moron can drive a car.
There's not as many people skydiving as there are cars in the road.
Well, the one thing that sometimes will get me on a plane when I'm thinking about it is like the one day that I know air traffic control is going to fuck up and run two planes into each other.
That's
And
definitely going to be on your watch too.
and-
You're going to live through it though.
No way.
Yeah,
Well, now it's going to happen now that I'm allowed to play on PS Vita before like,
that's what's gonna
exhausting
do it?
stuff.
Well,
yeah.
so here's the thing that I think I told Cheryl this.
That's his girlfriend.
That's my girlfriend. And it's kind of a dark thing because we fly a lot. We fly over the
all the
world,
time.
and I told her like being in a plane crash or being like in a situation where your plane's crashing is probably fucking horrific, like horrifying.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a moment of clarity when that's happening to you, being like, I can't believe that this is actually happening. Mathematically, this is so improbable.
Yeah, it's
and
like
I
Final
can't like.
Destination.
It's almost like you can't.
think-
You know what I'm saying? Like you
I
can't
think I
prepare for
literally
something like that.
every time I go on a plane flight, which is arguably is not as much as it used to be because I make Tim go everywhere now for all those trips.
What's it going to be like when his blood's on your hands?
I'll be fine. I won't think of it mostly.
Who are we going to get to fill in for Tim on this show?
We'll get Mike
Ty.
Pereira.
Oh, Mike Pereira.
Or Ty. Ty would be fun too. He'll give some awesome dating advice.
Wait, hold on a second. Sounds like another podcast you can get somewhere else.
What?
Super knocking boot.
But every time I go on a plane ride, I think statistically speaking, takeoffs, yes, and landings.
That's what they call them. Yeah.
Are the most dangerous, right? That's where most accidents happen or incidents happen when it comes to plane flights. So I think to myself, right as we take off, and then we level out, I'm like, that's the closest I'm coming to death all week.
Wow.
And once that's over, I'm like, whatever. I mean, there's that one moment where you have to go. You're like, am I going to be control freak and try to or just let go? And I always just go, let go. And
See,
just
to me,
enjoy
that
the
moment
ride.
is always when the lights start flashing randomly because that happens every flight. There's always that one time where it's like,
That's when they
lights
reset
are on
the
and it goes,
power to like.
why do they do that? Like that's fucked up to people. Like I can handle it. I don't really care. But some of the people next to me, I'm just looking out for them. I'm not scared.
I think
You're a real humanitarian.
Dude,
you really
what's
just,
crazy about San Francisco
like the Jesus
specifically
of
is you
airplanes.
come in hot in San Francisco.
Right,
Like,
coming real hot.
like you like.
Have you
you're
been?
coming
Have you ever sat next to someone who's never flown into San Francisco
Every
before?
fucking plane ride I'm
It's
on, someone
amazing.
around me asks if we're making an emergency landing because it looks like you're landing in water.
In the
if you
water,
don't-
and then
yeah.
you make it that.
And it's always
The
like,
last
and
little
it's
gap.
always like this until like the last second because the wind is like fucking
Yeah,
going crazy,
you
and
come
then
down
suddenly it
fast.
just evens out. But you're coming in hot in San. There's no other place I've ever landed that's like that.
Oh, Vegas. I went to Vegas once and it was terrible like that. We were coming in. It was something about the way that temperature was changing from it that was the worst turbulence I've ever had.
I have been on a plane though, one time down to LA, where I was like, holy shit. Where like the plane definitely like lost like
I've been
like
there.
an unusual
When you
amount
just
of
for
altitude.
no reason you
Yeah, it's
drop
like-
like
it's
70 feet and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, it felt like we dropped like literally. It was like it was more than like one. It was it was like one like that whole like time. It wasn't just like a, it was like holy shit. Like I remember being like disturbed after that flight. Like I can't believe that just like that's not normal. It was just an air pocket, but that was like just not normal.
What like percentage of those happening do you think the pilots are like, we're cool, versus fuck, we almost died? Like, if we hadn't have just done that one cool avionic thing to save all these people's lives, they'd all be dead right now. How do you think you've been on a plane when that's happened?
No.
I don't think so.
No? You think that it's just normally good?
My mother used to tell me this story. So my mom used to work for an airline. She was like in charge of flight attendants at a Delta affiliate in New England for like many years. And she used
sounds like Wings.
And she used to it was near Nantucket. And she used to tell stories about how like pilots say, and it's true, like just in terms of aerodynamics, that once planes are in the air, they want to stay in the air. Like you have to actually try to get them to go down. Like the plane, as long as there's an engine and like it's being propelled, like it's not natural for the plane to just fall out of the sky.
Loses both of its wings.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. Because a plane is flying because of the speed in which the air goes over the wing and under the wing, and the minor difference between them. That's why something lifts.
Well, that's the thing. Like when you run out of gas in a plane, like they tell us things, they'll glide for like an hour, just trying to figure out what they can do.
So yeah, like that. Once she told me that, like when I was a little kid, because I used to fly all the time because we used to fly for free. She would like we'd get a little scared, and she'd be like, the plane like wants to stay in the air, and it's true. It's like a duck to water.
It's like a duck to water,
or a duck to the air.
Sure.
Ducks want to stay in air too.
God, this is the regal duck making his move. What do you got for me, Tim?
Topics?
No. Anything else on this matter? You done? No more wing talk?
Wait, hold on. What was the original topic for this one?
The skydiving.
Well, let's go skydiving.
We should all go
we
skydiving,
should do that.
and we should all tie ourselves to each other.
You want to tether?
That is going to be a
I don't know
great
that they'll
way.
let us do that the first time out. That seems like some advanced shit.
Yeah.
But
You have to. You can't jump by yourself.
Here's the other question to this one: is how quickly?
No, of course not.
I watched
I
all the
wouldn't want
GoPro footage. Right, that
I wouldn't
came
want to
down.
dive by myself.
I would.
And when the plane that lands comes down, everybody's super excited. Everybody's super excited. They all lived. How fast do you think you go from the relief of living through this, that everyone got out alive, to what the fuck were you doing? What if you fucked this up? What were you thinking?
I would be hot. I would want to know immediately what happened, because I have that flip. Tim's seen. I have that flip the switch, like just temper, where I would just be like, we're so furious flames coming out of the side of my head. What the shit? Like, who fucked up? What happened? But I don't know. I'd like to believe that I'd be level-headed in the situation and think and try to figure out what there must have been a problem, right?
Yeah.
But it could have just been someone not paying attention.
The other crazy thing is that the fact that the plane crashed. There's everybody bailed out, but there was still flaming wreckage raining towards the earth in Wisconsin.
What happened? Did they ever figure out what happened?
I don't know. I didn't read that much.
You just saw pictures.
The news story I watched one of the news videos, and I don't think it ever talked about what happened.
Wait, but did they release the GoPro videos?
Oh yeah.
Good.
NBC News paid $100,000 to get it all.
Awesome.
That's why you got to GoPro everything, because you don't know when that's going to be worth $100K.
See, now this is the other thing I was thinking.
You think you get more than that?
Speaking of
There's
9/11,
8 of them, though,
or
with
not
all
9/11.
GoPros.
Speaking of airplane problems and San Francisco, that plane that hit the ground and exploded out, or not exploded, but hit and lost its tail and everything went crazy. There was. I remember when, as soon as it happened, and that guy put up the video immediately, like the photo of it on the ground or whatever, that got viral right away. And then like a day later, a video from like across the bay, somebody was doing it, that got out, but it was like only to CNN or whatever. Mm-hmm. If this happened and you witnessed one of these disasters, you were a part of it, would you immediately YouTube it, or would you wait and try to sell it?
I would immediately YouTube it.
Yeah.
Everyone else should try to sell.
What does that mean? Why?
Because for me, I'm all YouTube. I'm on YouTube.
Wouldn't that be the same thing here? I mean, it would go up on GameOverGreggy. Maybe we get more eyes in this show if I did it.
Well, I'm saying, for us, we should do YouTube. But like, if you're just some random other person that doesn't do the whole YouTube thing, sell it. Make money.
I would sell it.
Make money. Sell
I
it.
want we need those subscribers.
Yeah.
We need the views.
Like, subscribe.
People are gonna come watch that, and then they're gonna watch this glorious show and subscribe.
Wow, I can't believe I can't believe those people. Everybody died in that horrible telephone or that horrible plane crash. But I would like to know more about the perfect boob dick size.
Hey.
I like how you said that.
Everyone
A
thinks
horrible telephone. I don't know where the fuck that came from.
We
Everyone
record
died
these-
in that horrible
We record these,
telephone?
unfortunately, very
I
late
was
at
thinking
night.
telephone booth. I don't know why. That's what happened.
This
Sometimes
is a horrible game of telephone went awry.
Sometimes the Greg Miller black hole of reaching in and pulling something out for a podcast works. Sometimes it fails.
So the
99% success rate.
So the good news about piloting an aircraft and like your safety and stuff like that is that even though everyone that works for an airline are pretty low paid, flight attendants are pretty low paid, first officers make shit, like nothing. Pilots are exceptionally well paid. So like
what are we talking? What does that mean? Exceptionally well paid? What,
like six figures.
Okay.
So
they ought to be, right?
Yeah.
Same with like surgeons.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're like first mates or first officers make like $35,000 a year. And,
but eventually you stick around long enough.
And then like that's why like they call them crash pads. Like a lot of these airlines, like people share houses, like they can't afford to live by themselves. But you eventually get to that point where you make a lot of money. So at least the people that are piloting these aircraft are, you would assume, responsible enough to make that much money and stuck around long enough to learn how to do it.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I always give them the thanks. You know how like the cool airlines always kind of come out and no one realizes that's the person that just successfully took your life from one state to another. I always give them like the what's up, thanks, I appreciate it. Sometimes I try to give them a pound. You know,
you don't try to give anybody a pound
like that. And even if I can't reach them, I'll give them the whole shoulder pound.
Yeah. You put it right in there. Yeah.
So they see behind me.
Oh, really right. Colin, what do you got for me in the topic range?
Okay.
Oh, is there visuals to this?
Oh man, I hope there's an audio-visual diagram.
No, there's not a visual. I want to read you guys a story.
Okay.
Tell me a story. I'm gonna get a beer. Nick, Phil.
Okay.
I'm not gonna tell. We'll talk about it when it's done. Okay.
You're gonna read the story. Okay. How long is the story? I need to know if I need to.
It's
muster all my energy to
it's
pay
not
attention.
super long.
Okay.
Just give me a couple minutes.
Fair enough.
John Moffitt wasn't unhappy with the lack of playing time in Denver. He quit the NFL because he'd lost his love for the game and was tired of risking his health. The 30-year guard from Wisconsin called the Broncos from his home in Seattle this week to notify them he wouldn't be returning to the team following its bye week. Then he announced on Twitter that he was calling it a career, saying, quote, "Football was fun, but my head hurts. Ha ha ha." Kidding Roger Goodell, who's the commissioner. "I'm on to new things. Thanks to everyone along the way," end quote. So hold on, I'm going to scroll down. Moffitt said he knows teammates and fans don't understand how he could forego the fame and fortune of pro football. Quote, "I just really thought about it and decided I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. And I think it's really madness to..." Fuck it, reset. So
God damn it.
It's one of those pages that resets after every few minutes. "And I think it's really madness that you risk your body, risk your well-being, and risk..." IGN does that.
Who does that?
IGN does that.
No, I've never had
On an
that
article
happen.
page?
No, on a hub.
Oh, on the hub. Sure.
And I think it's really madness to risk your body, risk your well-being, and risk your happiness for money. Everybody, they just don't get it, and they think it's crazy. But I think what I was doing was crazy. He said he didn't want to see things through this season for the shot at a Super Bowl. Quote, "I don't care about the Super Bowl. I used to. I mean, anytime I played the game, I gave my heart to it, and I'm a person that does things with his heart. I don't need the Super Bowl experience. I played in great stadiums, and I played against great players, and I had that experience, and it's enough."
Good for him.
Yeah, great for him. Honestly. I mean, I've always said, first of all, let me preface this with...
Tim, football is a sport.
They play with a pigskin. I've always joked that I'd want to be on a winning team, but I want to be third string. So that you get the best of both worlds, right? You get the minimum paycheck, which is something ludicrous of like what?
$700,000.
Yeah, that's
For
absurd.
third string?
It's the minimum salary.
League minimum's like ridiculous in the
quiet.
NFL, right? You also get pension. So if you play a certain amount of years, you get paid forever, right? Or at least a good amount of your time.
Yeah.
Which we could look up. But I've always thought that'd be awesome. But the problem with football is there's a there's a reality to it, which is it could severely mess you up for life. It's like professional boxing. Any career where you're getting a lot of head injuries. And they're just now, I don't know what it is, Colin, maybe you can shed some light on this. Why is there so much coming out now about the head injuries and the concussions and what those can cause?
Well, because I think, I think there's a few reasons about this, because there was actually an interesting Frontline that was 2 hours long about, Frontline's a great program on PBS. And it was about 2 hours long, and it was specifically about head injuries and how the NFL tried to hide for years what was going on with its players. And people used to talk about, getting your bell rung, right? Seeing stars, things like that. And that was almost a point of pride to people, that they were getting their bell rung, or they were ringing other people's bells. And I don't think these guys lived hard and they drank hard and a lot, and they didn't live long enough to see the ramifications of it.
Yeah.
But as these players that played in really the golden era of the NFL in the 70s and 80s today are fucking crazy. A lot of them.
Yeah,
totally.
Not a lot of them. There's some of them are, especially linemen, especially offensive linemen. Look at the helmets of an offensive lineman even today compared to the helmets of everyone else and how dinged up they are because they lead with their heads.
Oh, but I mean,
So if you're a wide receiver, you're going to be fine. But if you're a quarterback or even a cornerback. But
you might take a wrong hit. Well, I don't want to get into that.
But so there's more to this story. Moffitt, 27, made about $1.5 million before taxes in his 2.5 years seasons in the NFL.
How did he live on that little?
quote, I've saved enough. It's not like I'm sitting here and I'm a millionaire. That's what I kind of realized. I'm sitting here and I got to this point and I was like, what is the number that you need? How much do you really need? What do you want in life? And I decided that I don't really need to be a millionaire. I just want to be happy. And I find that people that have
So
the
how
least...
many years did he play that he's not a millionaire yet?
2.5 years.
Okay. So
I just want to be happy, and I find that people that have least in life are sometimes the happiest. And I don't have the least in life. I have enough in life, and I won't sacrifice my health for that.
I mean, I think that's super admirable. Obviously, 90% of the sport, 100% of sports fans are probably gonna be like, yeah, I appreciate that. But in that situation, I would want the money. I would want to find a way to make it work. But I just don't think anything's worth not being able to think past the age of 40.
Yeah.
We talked to Hunter about the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Where he was like,
Hunter Hillenmeyer.
Came on up
Former middle linebacker for the Chicago Bears.
up at noon.
Overdog. The app. Go download the app. You can play sports, people.
But he mentioned the same thing, right? Where he was talking about, he was like, I just had to stop. I was hurting. I had injuries. He could have come back, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it wasn't like he had some debilitating, horrible injury.
Right, but he just decided that he had
I think
enough was
doctors
enough.
told
And
him
we're
that.
talking about a guy he's like my age. How old is he? Like 34,
Hunter?
35? How old is
Yeah.
he?
Oh, here we go. Cracking the knuckles, getting on the iPad.
And by all accounts, when the guy moves still, he's still with it. He could have probably played a few more years, but it's very admirable for someone to go, I've done it. I'm good. Never won the Super Bowl, which is unfortunate, but he went. And that's more than a vast majority of human beings on this planet can say they did.
Vast majority of players in the NFL can say
Yeah.
that. Can't say that.
And so it's admirable. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't hear a story about the NFL. Right? Today I was listening to the radio and they were talking about
33.
33. He's my age. Wow, he's way better looking than I am. That's sad. He looks way more established in life.
He looks young. He's
But, this morning I was listening to that story about
You look
the
old.
bullying. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, the Richie Incognito Miami Dolphins.
Which is insane. And I mean, this is a sport where you breed like ferocity, right? You breed people who have to be like the meanest you can possibly get. And you're going to get, when you create that cycle of competition where the meanest wins, you're going to get insanity, right? You're going to get injuries and you're going to get people that are really, really hurting at the end of the day. It sucks because most people watch football because of the violence, right? Same reason why I watch MMA sometimes, or I'll watch like UFC, because I like watching the sport of it, but let's be honest, I like that sound of that impact, right? When someone lands a good punch and knocks the dude out. And that's just so cool. You don't see that in everyday life. It's the escapism in its like rawest form.
Wait, is that why people watch football? Is that a thing?
Oh, I think people watch it for the strategy, but also it's
Colin watches it for that.
I mean, people that watch
He
football
said that
watch
too.
it
They said that before.
for different reasons than baseball, right? Baseball, they say, is a finesse sport, right? Football is all about that play and that just crazy energy that goes into
when
it,
you
right?
think about football, right, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about these,
hard
these
hit.
crazy-ass moments that always end in a giant collision.
Right.
That can't be good for a human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like the greater question to me is, and my girlfriend and I, my girlfriend's a forensic psychologist. She's studied the brain and she knows a lot about this stuff. And we often talk about these brain injuries that these guys are incurring, and even huge players like Junior Seau, end up killing themselves. And like they don't understand why, and they study their brains, and they're studying these guys' brains as they die, and they give their brains to science, and they're realizing that you love the sport or hate it, and I fucking love football. And you can ask Greg, like, I love
We literally are not allowed to record
football.
this on Thursday night.
Yeah,
because of
like
football.
we can't record on Monday or Thursday, so I watch every Monday night game, every Thursday night
You
game.
won't do conversation with Colin on Sundays.
Yeah, like ask Greg. I watch 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 4:30 games on Sundays. That's Pacific time. And I watch every Monday night game and every Thursday night game, no matter who's playing. And I watch the Jets every week. But other than that, I fucking love football. And I love the strategy of it. I love that football is 90% in the classroom. I love all that stuff. I also love the big hits.
I didn't know that.
Sunday games are at 5:30, but no big deal.
And 5:30, I'm sorry. And so
Football fan.
so with all of that said, my point of view on this, honestly, is that it sucks that this is happening, but you have to know what you're getting yourself into, and there's a risk that this is going to happen.
Right.
And what I don't like,
There's a risk with anything that's professional athlete.
right? Exactly.
Even
On
flying
your
a
body.
telephone booth.
But I don't like that they're like. I like that we can make football safer, make the helmets better, and all that kind of stuff. But let's not remove what is in essence the violence out of the game, because the violence in the game is really integral to the sport, and what you're seeing, is a lot of really just toning down the game. Like if you watch footage from the 70s or 80s,
Oh my god!
They
don't even
fucking-
bring that. Yeah.
kill each other.
And like there
You know-
was a sweet spot that I think There's a sweet spot between that when it was, you look at these people and they're like, you know, any of like the Monster of the Midway Bears footage, right, of them just like in pads flopping around, destroying each other. Dick Butkus film, you know what I mean? But now you have it to the other extreme. That's our player from the Chicago Bears. You might also know him from My Two Dads. He was the soda fountain attendant. Anyways, now you have it to like, you know, when they moved in the kickoffs, so every kickoff goes out the back of the end zone. Now you can't touch a quarterback at all. You know what I mean? Like there's so many little things they've gone and tweaked that just.
How long has the roughing the kicker rule been?
That's been a thing for some time, but it's like
I always find that to be the one thing that I wish they could do away with, because those kickers, no matter what quarter of the game it is, they're always pristine. They always have just a beautiful uniform. No one's touching them. I would want to be third string kicker if I could.
No team has a third string
kicker. Is there a
third
third
string
kicker?
Or even a second string kicker.
Is there a fourth?
There's no room.
Kicker?
There's no room for on the roster for.
Just wear the uniform and kick things on the sideline. Is that something they pay me for?
Back in the day, the kicker and the punter were the same person because.
Are they not anymore?
No, they haven't been for years. Because they're very different, super different skills.
They seem in a similar vein.
But like the whole thing about roughing the kicker and roughing the punter is that the collision often happens when their legs are extended and they fuck them up. Like
that's what makes
these guys are
super dangerous.
Some of these guys are literally built like literally built like I am. You know, like, and like if they expose themselves to try to tackle, like
basically.
So if they expose themselves to tackle someone, then they're a football player, and they're gonna watching a kicker try to tackle someone or getting blocked.
All they ever do is just like try to push you out of the
lines. Like it's so some of these guys get creamed, but like. You know, there's something to be said about that. I always joke about, as a Jets fan, I hate the New England Patriots with a fucking passion. And we call roughing the passer roughing the Brady because Tom Brady always gets these ridiculous calls or whatever. Mm-hmm. I agree, you know.
He's a national treasure.
Now, let me ask you this question. Yeah. What's your favorite team? You like the Jets, right?
The Jets are like my favorite.
Who's the quarterback of the Jets?
Geno Smith.
Okay. If you could be him for a year or Tom Brady for the rest of your life, who would you rather be?
Tom Brady is one of the great quarterbacks of all time. I just
also knocked out Giselle, so let's put that on the table.
I hate Tom Brady, and you know like what makes
because he's too good looking?
No, it's because he plays for the Patriots, and the Patriots and the Jets are
so if you didn't play for the Patriots, you'd be A-okay with old T Brady.
Yeah, but he has the taint. Like for instance, like
he does have a taint.
Like anyone that's played for the Patriots, the problem, like Greg will remember the great cornerback Ty Law.
How could I forget?
Ty Law was like a great quarterback, played for the Patriots for years, and then came to the Jets, and I was like,
get out of here.
Like, he's really good, but I'm like, ugh. You know, it was like when Johnny Damon came to the Yankees. So I was like, what the fuck?
Here's the deal, folks. I'm not a huge sports fan, right? I'm never one of those guys, like, when I refer to sporting events, teams, I've never said we're. And that's a very distinct difference between me and guys on this side of the table. Tim's probably with me on this one.
100%.
When you say, we're playing this Saturday, or we won, you're referring to a team that's playing hundreds of miles away from you that you've never played for, that you've never been. But you guys have this sort of connection to these teams that I just don't understand.
That's a great point. I like that.
What's that?
I like how you said that. The whole we thing. Yeah, I would never say that.
See, that's the thing. We live in San Francisco, right?
That makes sense.
I've been to multiple Giants games. The Giants have won the World Series now, I think, twice since I've been here.
Right.
And everyone's like, we won. And I still don't feel that connection to the Giants.
Yeah, because that's not what it's about for you.
I mean, I used to go to Starbucks and see Fear the Beard, what's his name, Brian Wilson, would be at my Starbucks, and he would be there with the beard and like weird fanny packs. Because
he didn't leave it at home?
Weird. No, he just went everywhere with it, apparently. And girls would hit on him, and it was like this most amazing thing because he'd look at me, and I'd be like,
he never once looked at you while girls were hitting him. He's like, and then he's like, hey, niggas, Scorfino, what do you know?
He knew who I was. He's tweeted at me. Check my Twitter feed. He's tweeted at me multiple times. Long story short, though, is I see these players come in, right, which by all accounts, you know, is harkens back to the old days of baseball when like the Yankees, right, would be like they'd work their day jobs and then you'd see them playing at night or whatever.
That was like a really long
time ago, right?
Harken back to how does Fear the Beer guy going to Starbucks?
Because you don't see. I mean, you don't. I wouldn't say like. I mean, I'm not seeing any 49ers going to my Starbucks, right? I don't see like guys that are.
They're human beings.
Yeah, wait, what?
It was. All I'm saying is this. It was nice to see these guys in the community, right? And yet, still, I did not feel like this was my team.
Right.
Is San Francisco your city?
No, but
there you go.
I didn't grow up in a city with a professional sports team.
See that? I mean, that's the big thing. Is like there's what you're talking about are shared experiences, and that's what builds this kind of things.
So you're just basically saying I'm screwed.
Yeah, no, totally, and especially if you don't like the sports or if you're not super into the sports.
I think I'm
from SF. I don't give a crap about the Giants.
Because you don't care about sports.
But all my friends that are from here when they say we, I'm like, yeah, I get that. That makes sense for you guys.
Yeah.
Like, they are fans, and I'm like, I was just as happy for them that the Giants won.
Yeah,
And I was
that's
like, you
spectacular.
deserve this. You know
Well,
what I
you
mean?
trace
Do
back-
they deserve it? What did they do? What did they do to deserve it?
Just
Okay, so
supporting.
case
It's
in point.
just supporting them. They
This
deserve
last
it.
World Series, I was at a party, a friend's birthday party, where it just happened to coincide with the last game of the playoffs, right? Where Boston was playing Detroit, I think it was.
The Cardinals, St. Louis.
Was it St. Louis?
Yeah.
No, that was the series, wasn't it?
Boston and Detroit can't play in the World Series.
No, in the playoffs.
Oh,
In the last round of playoffs.
okay, yeah, in the league final.
Yeah, league finals. They were
Divisional
going for the pennant. And there were two people there. One of whom was a huge Boston fan. The other was a huge Detroit fan. And it was like the tension was not. It wasn't even palpable. I mean, it was like ferocious. How the mood shifted once I think someone hit a grand slam, and that put Boston like pretty far ahead to the point where it was kind of a foregone conclusion. Not that there is such a thing in baseball, but they were pretty far ahead in the ninth inning. And it was the look on the Detroit Tigers fan was like he just found out that someone in his immediate family was dead.
Yeah.
Like he left the party. He was like, I gotta go. And I'm like, I cannot think of anything that I like that much that if I were disappointed by it would make me leave a birthday party because I like
I've
it
seen it
that
a million
much.
times. When the 49ers this year lost the Super Bowl, like 4 of my friends left and they were depressed for like the next week.
I don't think I like anything that much. Like, I love movies, right? I go see a movie. Like, I was super excited about Man of Steel. Right? I'm like, this is going to be Zack Snyder's, like, second 300, right? He's going to claim this back. And I got out of that movie, and it was okay. And I was like, yeah, it was okay. And I left, and I lived the rest of my life never having
Yeah,
to
but
go
I mean,
again,
again,
right?
That's bullshit. How many times have we talked about Fast and Furious?
Come on, Tim.
Like a
Fast and
million.
Furious transcends cinema. Okay, that's on a different
True.
level.
That is true. Let's not go on
All
there.
right, let's not talk
You're
about
talking
that's
about
another
investment
podcast.
though and stuff like that. You're talking.
it's a
You're talking
lifelong
about.
investment,
You're
right?
talking about Man of Steel. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm a big Superman fan, but there'll
Right.
be other movies I'll see. When will I see the Bears in the Super Bowl again? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that happened once when I was
But
2,
that- okay, so
and then
here's my
again
thing
when I
about it.
was about to move to
What,
San Francisco.
what makes the Bears the Bears? Because that team is nowhere close to what it used to be when you were a kid, right? When you really first watched it,
Much better.
no one plays. But yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been 20 some odd years since you've been watching this. They've changed so much. What is it? Just the brand of the team that keeps you guys
It's
in
a big
that?
part of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's the brand, it's the stadium, it's I mean, I'm drinking out of a Bears glass right now, and I have a little mobile bear. I say mobile like
Right.
like the gas station mobile, right? There's a Bears cup in our cupboard, right? And that's my grandmother's Bears glass, and that's like when I would go to my grandmother's house, it was that and the Bulls and all this other stuff that like she was the one who's super into all this stuff. Those are the memories. This is similar but different. Stick with me.
Sure.
Like I always talk about Portillo's, right? The hot dog restaurant in
It's the best
Chicago that
place
I
on earth.
love. Exactly. Yeah, you've
Really
gone
good.
there to the LA one with me. But people back in Chicago to this day will write to me and be like, "Oh man, Gene and Jude's is so much better," or Wiener Circle, or this, that, the other. And it's like, no. I'm not saying I'm the biggest hot dog fan. I'm saying I'm the biggest Portillo's fan because that is a touchstone in my life. That my childhood and everything when I think of home is wrapped around going there. You know, when my grandmother would pick me up from school and take me there, or like going there with my friends after this thing or that thing. You know, what
So
I mean,
maybe
like,
that's what I'm missing, right? Is that shared experience?
Yeah,
Is
none
that,
of it is
all
just
of my
like, oh,
friends
man,
and I on that one special occasion we're having a great time, and that's when the Bears won the Super Bowl, and we remember that, and that moment is categorically and sort of intrinsically locked to that success of that team, and those build the bond between it. That's what you guys are talking about. I just don't have anything in my life like that.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm really bonded to, like we talked about earlier, is my wife. That's about it, and my friends. But I just don't have anything else in my life that I'm like ride or die about, except Fast and Furious.
Yeah, that's true.
There you
See,
go.
this is such a huge joke, but for me, I don't have sports. But like Macklemore, I'm gonna bring that up. Like
And
that's
that's
one of those
fine.
things where it's just like that's where I do feel like a we.
You felt a really personal connection to Macklemore when he hit it big, which by the way was only this past year with Thrift Shop.
But
and
like
all the
I've
other
been
things.
listening to him for years, and like once it hit every little small success, I was like, oh my god, this is awesome, and I felt like I was a part of it.
Right.
And like so I get that. It was just like, oh man, like Macklemore's the like most played YouTube video of the year.
Yeah.
That means something to me. Like, I
Recently-
feel like I'm a part of that.
recently, right? Like for me, it was Walking Dead with that, where I had been on the Walking Dead train for years and years and years, and then it kept getting bigger and bigger, and then like things would start to happen where there'd be an action figure or shirt.
You are
or-
a natural evangelizer. Both of you guys are. So you guys find things that I think maybe because of your experiences doing what you guys have done for so many years, is that you have the ability to take something that no one else knows about and go, this is something you should care about, right?
Hot Mess Moves. Go subscribe right now on YouTube. They're going to be big, and we're going to say we knew them when, and they wouldn't return our texts.
Boom.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like my experience, one of the things I love about being from Long Island is that there's like this weird, I don't want to say mystique to it because I don't think that's the right word. There's just something weird about it. Like people don't quite get it because you never have to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I'm terrified of Long Island. I don't know why.
It's like you to go to Long Island. Long Island's not a place you go to get anywhere else. Long Island is a place you have to intentionally try to go to, and that's it.
It's so long.
Like, well, it's just if you look at a map, like you drive through New Jersey to get to New York, you drive through New Jersey to get to Pennsylvania, you drive through Pennsylvania to get to West Virginia. Sure. Long Island just sticks out of New York, and there's no reason to go there unless you're from there.
Right.
And like, people always wonder, like, why does New York have 2 sports teams for everything? And it's like, well, New York's a really big metropolitan area, but it's also that Long Island has its own teams, and people don't seem to quite understand that. And our teams happen to be fucking terrible. Like in a lot of the sports, and we
except for that one team that consistently wins every year because they've got the highest payroll.
But the Yankees,
sport, right? Yeah,
the Yankees are in the Bronx. The Mets are Long Island's team.
That's not how it works. That's exactly how it works.
But so there are Jets fans in New Jersey and Connecticut and stuff, but like typically the Islanders are the hockey team, right? The Islanders, like they're Long Island's team.
Right.
The Jets used to play in the Polo Grounds and Shea Stadium where the Mets played on Long Island in Queens. So, like, these are our teams or whatever, and they just happen to be fucking terrible. But historically, except for the Islanders in the glory years, and the Jets won Super Bowl, they won. And so, like, I feel like and you saw the John Spano thing we watched, and they talk about, like, how Long Islanders, like, take to these teams, and they mean something to them because we are next to the city, and, like, we don't have our own identity except for these teams, and it means something to us. That's like, so that's where I come from with this. Like, the teams are bad.
And but for me, I think that is what makes intense fans like what you're talking about, though, is the fact that when I sit down and talk about the Bears, right, I talk about the Super Bowl, that they blew, or when Jim Miller got hurt and his wife said he couldn't go back in the game, and all these like goofy things. You don't talk about the successes. You talk about the shared. Oh my God! And we're like, as a Mizzou fan, the 5th down. All these things where it collapsed and took the wind out of everyone's sails. Yeah. Those are the unifying moments. It's super easy to be the bandwagon fan. Yeah, a Red Sox. Somebody who decides right now to be a Red Sox fan is completely different than somebody who decided like in the late '80s, early '90s, whatever, to be a Red Sox fan.
So I grew up not liking sports. My dad wasn't into sports. My dad's a great guy, but he just was never into sports, right? And I think a lot of
I kind of justify that because I thought he'd be a shitty guy.
Well, I mean, to some people, it's sacrilege.
My parents didn't like sports either. I had a real late start to it.
So I don't. Yeah, so I always sort of grew up feeling a little like I was missing out because I don't have that common. Like, even if you don't like the same teams, you can still have that discourse, right?
Sure.
You can talk about it, but you don't understand. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not saying you don't. I'm saying, like, a member of.
Oh, I definitely don't.
Like, well, like, Greg as a Bears fan, like, has a different experience than me as a Jets fan. Right. Like, Cheryl always tells a story. Like, the Jets are like, they won the Super Bowl III in '69. They've never been back to the Super Bowl, and they're just one of the worst teams historically in the NFL. Like, that's just
how do you hang in there for it every time?
Because
you're going to be there when they hit it.
Like, and
you want to be that one guy
that's like, Macklemore story.
I went to Macklemore's first concert, so fuck you for liking them now because I don't want
to be that guy. It's not like that at all. I was there when there was literally 20 people in the theater, and I didn't care. Like, I was like, I'm one of those 20 people. And now that there's millions, I'm like, this is awesome.
Now, is it awesome? Well, for you on this side, is it awesome for you because that's what you want to happen in your life, and so seeing someone that you supported, is there sort of like a karma behind that where like you're hoping?
No, I mean, not at all. Like,
same thing can happen with that.
Yeah, that's awesome, but like that has nothing to do with it. Like, it's just one of those things where they're fans of it. If they win, that's awesome, and if there's other supporters or whatever, that's cool too.
See, that's my thing. Maybe I'm just too fair weather when it comes to this, but like I could not stand to follow. Football's okay. Baseball is one of those things where like how people follow bad teams in baseball blows my mind. 162 games watching them lose.
But think about think about what was the great feel good story about this last baseball season with the fucking Pittsburgh Pirates, dude. And there were people, they hadn't made the playoffs since 1991. Like and they finally.
I mean, look, I've had the pleasure now of living in 2 cities that both had world champions. I lived in Anaheim when the Angels won, and now I lived in San Francisco, and it's awesome. Don't get me wrong, and I'll get out there and wear the old orange and black as good as everyone else. But I'll wear that the old
Look
Giants.
it out there and wear the old.
But I'm a fair weather fan. I don't I don't care about it, and I can't see the other people that just moved to town and are like, I'm a Giants fan. That's
Yeah,
cool.
that shit
Good
pisses
for
me off.
you
That
if
shit
that's-
pisses me off too. Like I don't
into
like
it.
fair weather fans. The reason I don't is because I come from two fan bases in hockey and football that are fucking hardcore.
Yeah, if
you know,
first of all,
and
if you're a
like,
fan of hockey at all, you're hardcore.
Well,
In the
hockey's-
United States,
hockey's
in the United States of
yeah,
America.
well, hockey's huge in a lot of markets, including mine.
Can't.
And you know, what bothers me, fair weather fans bother me because, you know, I was saying, like, Cheryl tells the story all the time when the Jets went to the playoffs in 2009, which was like a really unusual year. The Jets have been to the playoffs, you know, several times, but like 2009, they had a rookie quarterback, a new coach. They snuck into the playoffs, you know, and then they won, and then they won again. And Cheryl tells the story about how I started hysterically crying after one of the wins. Like I was like, I can't believe this is happening. And they lost in the championship game, the game before the Super Bowl, and I was fine. I was like, I can't believe that this happened.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe that they made it this far. And the next year, they made it back to the championship game, and I was like, what the fuck? And they lost in the championship game again and didn't make the Super Bowl. And then I cried out of pain, you know? And I was like, I have like a deep emotional attachment to this team.
Maybe
totally.
it's a mechanism, a defense mechanism for me to just not care, right? Like
Sure,
I'm some sort of cool, really good-looking Terminator.
It's one of those things when my friends will have kids and they'll tweet the first photo of them in the Bears jersey. I will tweet back or like, you know, welcome to a lifetime of pain. You know what I mean? Because that was the thing. But like in the same thing, when the Bears, you know, won the divisional playoff to go to the Super Bowl, cried, opened a bottle of champagne, sat there, drank it, called all my friends, and then when they lost the Super Bowl, I was more like, all right. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like destroying. It didn't destroy me because like they're against the Colts and no one expected them to beat the Colts, and neither did I really because Rex Grossman sucks. But you know what I mean? Like that. Like I go into most games thinking my team's going to lose. They'll fuck this up. That's what I
so
always say.
terrible.
That's the
though.
way.
But that's the defense mechanism, though,
Right.
right? Because I feel more losses than wins for
Yeah.
both them and Mizzou, which isn't true probably statistically. But I'm used to the big games, something horrible happening. Mizzou is number one in the country and immediately loses it.
Well,
I'm used to that.
That's different though because that system, college football is insane, right? Like you can lose one game and then you're just done.
But it's just more
You
principally
can
like,
actually not lose games and you're still
because it's
done,
all
right?
arbitrary. That's why I hate college
ridiculous.
football. The
playoff system.
Yeah, they need like a deeper playoff system. But the like what Greg's saying is true in the sense that it's just an identity thing, and you know like Greg will tell you like I'm like that. I don't only watch Jets game. I am fucking nuts
Yeah, see,
during Jets games. Like I scream and get up and clap and yell. Like I scream. Like it's like on the Colin. Like you never see me like you would during those 3 hours. And I haven't missed a Jets game in years. You know, like that's the other thing is like when they were bad, when they won 3-4 games a year, I was still watching every game. And it caused a problem with my family in 2011 when I went home. And I immediately got home and like wanted to watch the Jets game. And like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm not fucking missing the Jets game. I understand that I haven't seen you guys in a while, but like, I haven't missed a Jets game in years. So like, I'm sorry. I love you guys. I'll see you in 3 hours.
That's insane to me.
You know?
Again, it's so insane. Like I love the thing I love most in life is going to see movies. I love the experience of going to see movies, but I just don't like. I lost that thing that I needed to go see the midnight showing of a movie I was looking forward to. I lost that a long time ago. The fact that you two have still kept this passion for these teams that, by all accounts, aren't very good it's astounding to me, and it makes me sad in my life that I miss out on that. Right? Yeah. It's a well-known factor on The Office. I know the least, with the exception of Tim, about sports, probably in a 30-foot radius of wherever anyone sits, in the editorial pit. And it sucks because we had some VPs back in the day that would be like, "Did you see the game? Oh, game this and that. And it's awesome." And that was a great play. And I'm like, I just don't know what you're talking. I want to be a part of this world.
You
could, but
that's why I'm not a vice president.
But here's the cool thing about you is that like you don't disparage it. You know, like the thing that bothers me, like the Islanders are a good example. Like the Islanders play 82 times a year. I'll watch about 70 games a year because there's just certain games I miss, and I'll like follow them on Twitter or whatever. The Islanders won 4 Stanley Cups in a row. Are a historically amazing team back in the day, and have since I was born literally been like terrible. And they made the playoffs last year for the first time in years, and that like was so powerful because you stuck with it.
Yeah.
And the people that understood that in my life, like Greg did, Greg actually sat and watched the games with me and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool because it was like a shared experience where he understood that this team was fucking abysmal, you know, like awful. And they were so awful for so many years that they got so many great draft picks that now they're great, you know? And like, so like you're reaping what you sow. And what really bothers me is that when I would talk about these things on the internet or, like tweet about them or whatever, people be like, "Oh, sports ball and all that shit." It's like, shut the fuck up. You're sitting here like talking about all this nerdy, stupid shit I don't care about.
Right.
Like, what is the difference about me liking the Jets or the Isles?
You're giving me a little too much credit. I do make fun of sports a little bit here and there. Like, my favorite thing to do is when people are talking about last night's game, I walk by and I just throw out, similar to what you do with camera technology and like terminology.
Oh, Chiron?
I just throw out, Chirons. Chiron.
Confidence.
I will throw out random terms like combine and
the combine,
things like that. I don't know what they mean. I know what the combine is, but I will just throw that stuff out and just be like sports, hoops, basketball.
See, like we have a lot of people at IGN like that, and who are just like, that's their defense mechanism, because when sports have come up before, somebody's made them feel inferior about not knowing it. But what drives me crazy for where we work is that we work right in front of the Giants stadium, and you're talking about the shared experience of understanding.
You can see it out of the window.
Yeah, exactly. And when the Giants go to the World Series, I get upset, or like the playoffs in general, at the people who want them to immediately lose and leave. And I'm like, God, like that's when it gets me. I get angry. Like, I remember being mad at Hillary about this. Like, and Hillary's a sports fan, but it's just like, and this granted was, when they were making their first run at the playoffs or the cup or the series, the cup. Jesus Christ. The fact that I understood that from, I don't like baseball, but I get for the city what this means, and for a fan what this means, and it's like, let them have their month of games. You know what I mean?
The only time I used to not like that was when you would be trying to get work done. It was a day game, and you just see thousands of people out
drunk
having fun, drunk, and you're like, I still got to go to that 3 p.m. meeting.
Yeah.
To talk
I just like
about
eating lunch.
Something
lines.
Confidence
But
monitors.
it's worth giving up the lines for those
ordering
I get that.
confidence monitors. You know what's funny is that by the end of like 6 more months, you're gonna know everything about video production, and you're not gonna be able to hide it anymore. You're gonna be a video nerd.
He already hides it. He knows what a Chiron is. He's been drawing them in his room.
It's good. Should we move on to Tim?
Yeah, Tim, what do you got for me? What's your topic here?
Okay, arguably the greatest rapper of all time, Eminem.
Yeah.
Just dropped an album, the Marshall Mathers LP2.
Yeah.
So my topic's just Eminem. What are you guys' thoughts on Eminem?
I love Eminem.
I see. This is what I knew was going to happen, and I'm really excited to hear Colin's thoughts on Eminem.
So the Slim Shady LP, right, and then
Yes.
Marshall Mathers, the original LP, are fucking amazing records.
Classics.
Especially the Marshall Mathers ones, which I think, from Kill You all the way through to the end are fantastic records. Like, he's a wordsmith,
Ken Kniff
Yeah.
from Connecticut.
Like, I love everything after that, like the Eminem show and all that stuff I could do without. But like,
See,
those
that's
first
the weird
two
thing
records,
for me
man, are
with Eminem is that the first 2 records I was all about Eminem, and then totally lost him. He was just gone. I never even.
Didn't he have a while where he kind of disappeared for a little
Well,
bit?
okay, so here is the lineage of Eminem. We had his underground shit, but whatever. Then it goes to Slim Shady.
Okay, slow down on this one because I need to follow this because I have no idea where he came from.
Underground, it was
8 Mile. Come on, we all saw the documentary.
exactly right. But underground
That
stuff,
was National Geographic, right?
which got him really
History
gave him his chance. Dre found him, all that stuff. Then there's the Slim Shady LP, which put him on the map for being like this.
That's I'm Slim
crazy
Shady,
guy.
real Slim Shady.
My name is
not that. My name is.
Oh, okay.
My name is-
Yeah, where he would say all this crazy stuff and like was kind of.
That's
like
where
a
he
comedy
talked. That
thing.
was when he was like making fun of Christina Aguilera.
No. That's
Slow
fine.
down.
all over the
Yeah,
place
yeah.
on this one.
So then the Marshall Mathers LP came out, and it was like way more serious. And not that the first one didn't have serious moments, but like the second LP was like, wow.
Oh yeah,
This
the
isn't
Dido
just-
song.
Stan. This isn't a joke. Like, this guy's serious, and the technical ability is just insane. And then he releases Eminem show.
By
which,
technical ability, you mean he's good at lyrics and rapping.
at lyrics and just being witty and like punchlines and like just his flow. Eminem's flow.
His flow
is insane.
His flow.
It's untouchable.
Untouchable.
Yeah.
Almost. I agree in the
flow.
sense that his intelligence and his vocabulary shines through the way, and like I love that he just says. He's like one of the, I think a lot of what people don't understand or don't want to acknowledge about hip hop, especially a lot of the gangster rap or whatever. Even when you think about some of the bigger guys like, I don't know, like Jeezy or something like that, where it's like, it's a joke. Like, they're being facetious. They're not really rapping and like Yo Gotti talks about how like his first song was in a drug house. Like, no, it wasn't. Like they're talking about these things in a sense to kind of be facetious and be funny and be street or whatever it is they're trying to be.
Story.
But like I always think about like he says in Kill You, what does he say? they said I can't rap about being broke no more. They didn't say I can't rap about coke no more. Like that's how he opens like really like one of those songs or whatever. And it's like he's just saying things to get a rise out of you, and that's what I loved about it. He's
that's
poking
him in a nutshell.
Yeah, he's poking and prodding people, and he gets a rise out of people, and it's just like this cycle. That's what I loved about him was.
Are we talking about Marshall Mathers still?
Eminem. One. Yeah.
Okay.
So like I love that.
Nick
kind of
is holding on for dear life to not lose what's happening.
Here's the deal about him. I know the man's polarizing. I never listened to an Eminem song and genuinely liked it. I mean, I like the songs. I like the man. I appreciate him for what he is. But I've never listened to his songs like I listened to Dre, where I've never felt that connection. When you listen to Dre or Snoop back in the day of the West Coast, like that sound, I would roll to that and feel that and try to like, and not that I grew up in anywhere circumstances to what they were talking about, but nor did they, I don't think. But, I used to vibe with that music, right? Where I'd roll and just listen to that and thump in my fucking badass Jetta.
It's meaningless.
Just deal with it.
All that stuff. That's just like background party, whatever.
No,
music, which is great. And there's
like
a thing
you
for
listen
that,
to Dre. Dre talks about some very serious issues, like
no, he doesn't.
Who's gonna bring the gin and the juice to the party?
That's true. But see, Eminem, half the songs are jokes, but then half of them are like super deep, introspective, like Rock Bottom on the Slim Shady LP. That song, if you listen to that and like, that's just insane. It's so good. And to continue the lineage, Eminem Show comes out, and it's a great album. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I wasn't really
remember it.
It's
What's the single?
Awesome. Without Me was the joke single.
Oh, okay.
But then it had Cleaning Out My Closet, Soldier.
Okay, I remember this.
I'm cleaning
Haley
out
song,
my closet.
all this stuff, all these great
One
songs.
time.
And then after that, he goes into the
Was that like a metaphor?
for what?
Cleaning out my closet? Was there some like
That was a song about his mom.
Why do you gotta do
It
this?
was, was Kim Basinger, right? His mom.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
In 8 Mile.
No. Okay, so we get to 8
Thanks,
Mile.
Greg. Thanks for being.
So we get to 8 Mile, which has Lose Yourself, which is unarguably his peak.
Assholes.
Lose Yourself is
Lose Yourself is Eminem's peak.
That's the one. That's the song I always equate
lose
to Eminem.
I don't know if that's his
That one
peak.
in Slim Shady.
That's
was like one of his
100%.
most
You better
boring
lose yourself
songs.
in the motor.
No.
You gotta lose.
That was one of the
Definitely
only
not.
ones where I was like, oh, I'm actually vibing with this because I get
But
it.
you're talking about, you're using the word vibing, and that really, like, when I think about, I come from the East Coast, so like the stuff, I love Tribe and De La and things that I grew up with. When I would listen to West Coast rap, like Dre, you would there was a vibe to it because it was like Tim was saying, and I think you're right. Like it's more of like the
let's be
beat
honest,
and the music.
A lot of that rap was different. A lot of that rap was made to, you're right, have at parties when you're partaking in various substances and just hanging out and like chilling.
But there's a different
hollering
feel to
and-
those than like if you're listening
more
to like
laid back.
if you're listening to like Stakes is High by De La Soul, like that's a rap song about
Introspective.
something.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're listening to California Love by Tupac, that's a song with great lyrics and fun,
Yeah,
but
but
it's a
you
song
have
where
some
it's
other
like
stuff, like I
you're
used to-
partying. You know?
There's a few other things that I like. Like I liked a little bit of like. Well, yeah, I guess you're right. That's true. I mean, there is.
It's not
there
that
are
one's
deep
better than
messaging in a lot of the other ones, but for some reason I just never like I listened to Eminem, but I also saw a guy that was coming out and probably making a lot of money, so I was like, what the hell is this guy complaining about? He always had like these amazing things about his life that he would share in his rhymes, but I was like, I just don't know that I buy any of this shit.
I want to listen to the new record. I haven't listened to it yet.
Well, so here's the
it good?
thing. So then after Eminem's Show and Lose Yourself, which is his peak, and then after that drops off. Bad things happened. His buddy
happened?
Proof died, and like all this shit.
Which one was
one of
Proof?
the D12 dudes?
Oh,
And like
D12 was
so he
terrible.
puts out Encore, which was the album that was like, fuck, we're done. Like all it was
Wasn't he
trying
producing
to
other
like
people
do
too?
stuff again. That Encore's when he started producing for people.
Right.
He started trying to do too much, and it was like that. After Eminem Show was when he like 50 Cent got big, and Eminem was just like, okay, whatever. That's when things got bad. He's had one song where he used a damn accent, and then his whole next album, Relapse, was just him using this freaking accent. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's horrible.
Sing me some.
Like he had a song "Ass Like That" on Encore, where he introduced this accent, and then he used the accent on every single song on the song. The single was "We Made You" on Relapse. It was 2009, I think. Anyway, it was so bad, and the fans were like, "Fuck this.
We're done with
this
you,
fucking sucks."
Marshall.
The album was actually pretty good as a concept album, but like song for song sucked.
Gotcha.
Took some time off. Relapse was when he was off drugs, like completely, and then that was a problem. And then it was a really bad problem. And then Recovery, which was his last album that came out, he was like, okay, I'm going to totally take a different approach to this.
Do drugs.
That's the one with Rihanna.
That had Rihanna. He got way more pop with it and stuff. And he
Was that the one where he was like, under my umbrella, hey.
This is the one with fire, right? There's
Yeah,
something
it's
fire.
that
That's
one.
him, right? Was that
Fire?
him?
There's a lot of fire.
Continue. Colin hates me.
I don't.
So
hate you at all.
he replaced the accents with screaming. So that's what he does now. Is he just screams. He gets really angry at all times. And he
Yeah,
just
but
screams,
let me ask you this.
screams.
So part of the reason you like this guy is because he talks so deeply about the things that happened in the past. After you just listed off 19, 20 albums, maybe he doesn't have anything to talk about anymore.
Well,
maybe he's
that's-
just super rich
that's-
and has kids.
That's my point, though.
Yeah.
His first 3 albums were classics. After that, it was downhill.
Because he had Pain. He had Kim Basinger.
Well,
He
he
was
had
doing
stuff like that.
freebasing
Exactly.
in the trailer.
Yeah. So now
He had
releases...
Mekhi Phifer, who was like, "You're never gonna be something, right?"
And there
Come
you go.
on, Rabbit.
Yeah. Rabbit did stuff, man. He ran.
Remember when the first time he got on stage, you're like, "I don't know about this guy," but by the end of the movie, he was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Brittany Murphy's dead.
Mom Spaghetti.
Brittany Murphy is
Brittany
dead.
Murphy
Brittany Murphy
is dead.
Uh,
How'd that happen?
So I read a Grantland album on this new record, and apparently what interested me the most about it was like it was supposed to be like full circle for him, where obviously the name indicates that as well, but where he like even raps about how he regrets treating his mom the way he treated
It's
her and stuff like that.
crazy.
Like it's like weird.
Yeah.
I want to hear.
So-
it's not on Spotify yet, but
So he put it out. It's Marshall Mathers LP2, which immediately and he dyed his hair blonde again, and he's doing all this stuff. It's like, I'm bringing it back. And the immediate reaction to that
like
as a
40?
fan is like, oh man, like this is where we're at. But at the same time, it's like, well, I guess I'd rather him try to do.
But
my
how old
be-
is the guy
favorite
now,
thing.
right? He's got to be
40.
in his mid-30s, 40s.
He just turned 40, like last week.
Yeah, I mean that's, it's when the guys get older, you're like, do you really have that angst still, right? Do you really have that messaging to get through? You're multi-millionaire.
Well, that's the thing, though. He's not like he hasn't been like that for a long time.
Right,
He's been making pop songs.
Exactly. So like at a certain point, like how do you get back in touch with that thing that made you great?
See, what's
to begin with?
interesting is like the idea of back in touch. People act like he's not in touch. His last album, Recovery, his singles on that, the song with Rihanna and Bad Meets Evil, this other album he did, the song with Bruno Mars, those are the most popular things he's ever done. Like My Name Is, Real Slim Shady, nothing compared to those. So he's making more money than he ever has. He's more successful than he's ever been.
Just not as impactful, so to speak.
I mean, he's not. No one will ever say these are classic albums. You know what I
Right.
mean? But those are just the elitist hip hop people who really cares about. Like the mainstream loves him more than anything. So, but with this new album, it's like, okay, it's kind of combining the two.
So
things.
is it good? Is the new
The
album
thing
good?
is, it's good. It's not great. It's better than the last couple.
Yeah.
It also has, I think, like 3 songs on it are the worst songs he's ever made.
Oh wow.
Is it better or worse than the 4th Fast and the Furious film?
Better.
Is it better or worse than the 2nd Fast and Furious film?
Better. Because
That movie sucked.
although it has some bad parts,
Let me ask you two this question. We had a raging debate about this. the
we
other day.
cannot start this.
Oh, we're
right
gonna start it
now.
right now.
I got
No,
a rage
we're gonna
debate
No,
right
this
start
is
it right
this
now.
is the whole episode.
What is
Nick.
better,
Damn it.
the 4th or the 2nd Fast and Furious film? If you had to watch one of them right now, would you
I
rather
never
watch
even
the
saw
4th
the
or
fourth one.
2nd?
I only saw. I don't
Give
know.
me the
Second
nutshell
one was
recap of the
no Vin
fourth.
Diesel, Tyrese. The 4th one was the one that went through the caves. That's what everyone remembers. They had to go through the stupid
Oh
caves.
no!
But the second one was with Tyrese and Eva Mendes,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
she phoned in the entire performance.
I'm already done. I know where I'm going. 2's better.
No,
Yeah, that was a fun movie. That was a fun movie.
no, it was not.
The-
Go back and watch it.
How did Vin Diesel thought he can just walk away from that shit?
Pacifier money.
The pacifier.
Vin Diesel has 2 unbelievably
It's
hysterical franchises. He's got the Fast and the Furious, and he's got Riddick.
Riddick.
Dude, Riddick's fucking awesome.
And Riddick's awesome.
Pitch Black, right? That's
Chronicles of Riddick, I liked a lot too.
No, Chronicles of Riddick is great, but Pitch Black is fucking awesome. That's like a great movie, and I like Chronicles
There-
of Riddick,
did
and
you
I
see-
like Chronicles of Riddick, the video game on Xbox.
Give me some moments from the 4th that were better because 2
Overall,
was we
I don't-
hungry.
Yeah.
Overall, so here's the deal. I watched the 4th and I was like, that's not a very good movie. Then I watched 2 and I literally couldn't sit through how terrible Paul Walker's acting was in that
Yeah.
film. Tyrese, and Eva Mendes phoned it in. Tyrese was
And
very
so
active
did
back then
and
anyway.
so did the guy from Dazed and Confused.
Lucas, whatever that guy's name is. Lucas Haas, I think, and that's the guy from the third one.
Yeah.
The guy from Pitch Black. He was in Pitch Black, I think.
I never saw
Was
Pitch
in-
Black.
Doesn't matter. It's a great film.
Anyways, in the fourth, I can't remember what happens other than the tunnels.
They go through the
running
tunnels.
Michelle
drugs.
That's
Rodriguez
the one with
dies.
Braga, right? Where they have to go to Mexico and they have a cool scene where they have to like take him back from
Braga.
Mexico, right? And they kill
You'll
the dude
never
with the
make
car.
it out of
You
here.
never
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
make it out of your home. So it's like, you're Braga? I didn't know you were Braga, right? But everyone in the fucking audience did. That notwithstanding, it had a plot that was cohesive and took people from point A to point B. Number 2, the best thing that happens is Tyrese steals that dude's lighter. That's
Nope.
it.
There were so many beautiful babies in bikinis.
No,
Remember
that's
that?
you
You
show
show
talking
up
about
and-
Sookie,
Sookie, dude.
and
Just
she's
slap
not
that ass.
cute at all.
I don't care.
She's kind of
She was in
weird.
Dead or
looking,
Alive
actually.
movie. It was
Yeah,
What was
no,
that?
she was cool. She
What was
didn't-
that
you know,
chick?
super
What was that
cute.
chick? Devin Aoki.
Yep.
Is that the?
It's Steve Aoki's little sister.
I don't know what.
How's,
we're
how's Steve
referencing
Aoki
TJ?
doing?
She's in one of those, isn't she?
What?
She's in. Isn't she in one of those Fast and the Furious?
She's in a couple
films?
things. Yeah, she's in number 2.
2. Okay,
That's
that's
what
what
we're
I'm
talking
thinking.
about.
Okay,
Ludacris is the guy. Remember Ludacris? Is the one that's
Luda!
doing all the-
It's Luda's introduction.
He's doing all of the wave racing.
Yeah.
It's like the N64 about, they
Yeah.
were racing on waves
Yeah,
and the jet skis.
and the girl's next to him, and that's the same. You got talk. Suki is
Suki is
Devin
this girl.
Aoki.
Okay,
Yeah, I used to
thank
think she
you.
was
Sorry,
hot
I
when I
didn't,
was
realize
when I was a
that.
kid.
I didn't want to derail
Anymore?
the conversation about Eminem.
I haven't
there.
seen her recently.
I just
though.
want you to know
She had
that
like a
the
really
official
unique
rating for Fast
I
and
hate
the
you
Furious
so much.
is 1,
No.
6,
Stop it.
3, 5, 4, 2. It's official.
Damn, that is
Wikipedia.
official.
So
we did that live stream, the most popular video on GameOverGreggy.com, and I have to say that number 2 is better than number 4. I've seen it more recently
It's a
than you have.
fact. 4 is just bad without any redemption. 2 is bad,
4,
which makes
4
it
has
good.
the Ghost Whisperer part where he closes his eyes and figures out, because of the tire tracks and the way they skid,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
everything happened. and like
that
even
is
the
awesome.
bullet
Cars.
trajectory.
He
just,
understands
like,
cars.
The bullet trajectory.
Is
of
4
like Letty.
is 4
They didn't see her
is
die
4
yet.
Fast and Furious?
Yes.
That's
no,
Fast
it's
and
Fast
Furious.
Yeah,
Which
that-
also had the amazing title, Fast.
See,
and
I
Furious.
remember liking that one a lot because it was when they were like, what was it? New
Original
Body, original
model.
parts.
Yeah, whatever.
New Body, original parts. And we're like, yeah, and we all went and watched. We're like, that was what reinvigorated the series.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Four
three
brought-
three
no.
reinvigorated the
Three-
series.
3 was a joke. Tim.
Three-
God,
No,
get
okay.
out of
3
here.
was a fucking
Look what you
joke.
turned this into, Nick.
3 was a movie that no one went and saw. No, everybody's like, this looks stupid.
No, that's bullshit. 3 is
Yeah.
the one that people went and were like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, this is actually a
Let's be
legit
honest.
series that
Everyone
matters.
went- everyone
who
so
saw-
then they gave the director another try
So I-
with Vin Diesel.
I was like, the dude that's directing Better Off Dead is directing a Fast and Furious movie. How can I not watch this? Rented it at Blockbuster Video. That's how long ago this was. Remember when you used to
Out
go
of
to
business.
Blockbuster
Represent.
and you start at A, you
Yep.
go all the way around, and there
Oh,
was
yeah,
those
yeah.
fucking weird people that started at Z and went the opposite way. Sorry, it was this way. Z was
Yeah,
here.
counterclockwise.
You were
would
like,
see people would.
what are you doing? You start at A, you go all the way around, so you pick something, then you go to the 80s aisle, and then you fucking get a Butterfinger, and you...
You get
check
3
it out.
o'clock.
What
You
the
get
fuck?
3.
R.I.P. Blockbuster.
You get
by
3
the way.
o'clock high in the 80s.
Stop
In
it.
the 80s.
Did you?
Oh, bad. I used to get a lot of Whoopi Goldberg films just to feel right.
What was
Sister
the
Act?
What was the Whoopi Goldberg film where she was like she was
Jumping Flash.
no
Burglar.
Jumping Flash.
Yeah.
Jumping Jack Flash?
Yeah, where
Great
she
film.
like the hacker was talking
Jumping
around the
Flash
computer.
was a game.
Great,
we all knew
great
where we were
film.
going.
Great film. Anyway, long story short is we went to Tokyo Drift when I was living with Ty and Brennan back in the day, and we start watching this. I'm like, this is a joke that we're watching this film right now. It's like watching a Tom Selleck movie. It's just not going to be good. It's not going to be good. Halfway through, I'm like, am I crazy, or do I actually like the Fast and the Furious series right now because of this?
Yes.
Then 4 came out, and it was like watching the veil had been pulled from my eyes. It was watching the series with a whole new outlook, and I'm like, boom, I get it. This is something that's huge.
4 is when,
And then 5
everybody
came in
got
and
it at 4.
just
Because
nailed
4 is what reinvigorated the series. When
4
people
was
were,
the only one with 3D that they didn't even
Nobody gives a
continue
shit
because
about
they were like,
nobody
this
gives a
is
shit
stupid.
about
person
3D.
watches 3D.
I know, and I'm saying it was dumb. Like even I'm
4
saying
was the
that's
one
dumb.
where you're like, all right, they're back to the original thing, cool, and then you went and saw it. You're like,
The
oh,
fact
neat.
that
You didn't know it
Han was
sucked.
in 4 is the only redeeming thing about it because that was like, oh crap, okay, this series is actually a
was Han in
connected
2?
thing.
He was
No,
in 3.
he wasn't.
You
But nobody
yourself have
saw
said
3, so
multiple
Sony
Everyone
times.
saw 3. I saw 3
No.
at midnight.
I saw 3
at
a
a
lot.
midnight release.
No,
It's
you were
because you're a
the
baby.
only person
You're a
there.
little baby.
No, it
I
was
went to the
awesome.
theaters and saw Fast and Furious, the first one.
So did
I saw it too. I remember thinking
And
this is the
2.
worst.
They
I
played
remember-
Rhino's music.
I remember thinking that Fast and Furious 1 was so bad that I would never watch another Fast and
This is
Furious
back
film.
when you wore your monocle and were fat and went to film school and stuff.
Yes.
I loved
I
it
was
so
a
much I bought the
monocle wearer.
DVD when it came
I
out.
was the guy from
Damn.
Monopoly.
I love
then I
Jesse.
watched-
They got to
Then
bring
I
Jesse
watched
back.
2, and I was like, holy shit, why did I go back on my vow to never watch one of these
He's
things?
dead.
I should not have watched this film. It's deplorable. Then 3 came out. It was amazing.
Deplorable.
4 was brought it back. It elevated the series back to where it needs to be.
No, that
which
was
is at the
5.
level of greatness that it is today.
5 is so good.
5 is amazing. We can all
3
agree that
is
5
what
amazing.
reinvigorated the series.
But
No.
6.
Oh,
still
you got
better
to be
than
careful with
6.
spoilers on 6.
6.
Some people haven't seen it yet.
I'm not gonna spoil it. If you haven't seen it, you're a jack off.
I
Go
fell
see
asleep.
the movie.
Yeah. Greg hasn't finished 6 yet.
All right, 6.
I know
to me
everything.
was
Do
the
you?
height of what the series can be. 5 was great, but I still put 6 a notch above that because they've perfected it at this point. Now they've perfected it. It's classic Coke now. No longer none of this like new Coke stuff. It's classic Coke now. Now they can just keep making them, and I'll keep drinking them and getting fatter.
So to the topic at hand.
Marshall
Better
Mathers.
being married or single?
Should we wrap it up?
Sure.
That was good. That was a
Sure.
good. That was a good.
There we go.
4 topics.
So yeah, we have any wrap up on Eminem? Any bow to put on him?
What's the deal with Eminem? How many more albums can we expect from Mr. Marshall Mathers?
Well, this one's, I mean, he's going to keep making albums, but like this one it's a big deal. Like, there's a couple songs on it that people need to listen to because it really ties things together. He kept saying he didn't want to just make sequels to every song. This was a look back at where he's at now.
Isn't there a Stand
looking
2
back.
there or something?
So here's the thing: there's not a Stand 2. Well, there is, but it's not called Stand 2.
Is there a song where
It's
he
called
goes,
Bad
"Still
Guy.
Slim Shady"?
But if you just listen to Bad Guy,
Still Slim
you don't know
Shady,
it's Stand
still
2
Slim
until the very end. Spoilers. And it's mind blowing. Like the story he tells in that, and like how that song ends. Everyone should listen to it. Listen to Stand first, and then listen to it. It's incredible. And it ends after that. There's a skit that starts right after the skit from Criminal, where he like goes in and like robs the bank and shoots and it's like, "Pow, thank you," and runs off. It's right after that.
Damn,
Nice.
Awesome.
I don't even remember this.
I like that. I like full circle.
I'm sure you do. This podcast sure has come full circle, Greg Way. Thank you so much for joining us for the second episode of the Game Over Greggy Show. Remember, we post them every Monday for your enjoyment, and then spend that first hour it goes live in the comments. Nick, if people want to follow you on Twitter, you're Nick_Scarpino.
At Nick_Scarpino.
Well, yeah, they know the at part.
At symbol. That's an ampersand. No, that's an at symbol.
Hashtag.
Ampersand's the end.
No,
symbol, yeah.
you can number sign
Pound.
Colin on the
Pound Nick Scarpino.
976 Nick Scarpino.
That is true. Follow me on Twitter. I tweet occasionally.
Tim Geddes is Tim Geddes
Yes.
on Twitter. Colin Moriarty is No Taxation. I'm GameOverGreggy. This show's named after me. And if you like it, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Until next Monday, have a conversational week with all 4 of your friends where you bring random topics to the table. Rest in peace, Tim Allen.